Malam Kardi. Madi.
Guys, good afternoon. Very
good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
sir.
Good afternoon.
Anyway, we'll take a start. Now some more to join, but let them join. Okay, give me 1 minute. Up to which point we completed last week from slides, if someone can tell me. අපි මේ ටික කරාද? මේක කරා වගේ මට මතකයි මේ slide එකට එනකන්. So okay, we were
loyalty ladder, I think.
okay, we were talking about up to loyalty ladder.
Yeah. Then only the power cut was there.
Okay, right. Cool. Anyway, let me take y'all on a quick revision. Right now, it is okay. You all have to come only on one day, and your attendance will not be so much of concern since you all have to come only on one day. But make sure your attendance is there 80%, and don't tell me at the last moment. Okay, so good. Okay, let me take y'all on whatever the areas we were talking about last week, just to take a start for this one. අද එක start එකක් ගන්න මම පොඩි මේ discussion එකක් කරන්නම් ගේ සතිය අපි කරේ මොනවද කියන එක to give a quick recap on. Okay, we were talking about we identified what is sales management, and we identified the entire perspectives in macro and the micro and how sales management connected over there. අපි ඒක identify කරගත්තා. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම මේ operation එක ඇතුලේ company එකක් විදිහට අපි ඉන්නකොට අපි මෙතන ඉන්නකොට company එකක් විදිහට අනිත් organizations give me 1 minute. Right. Okay. Now we were talking about how our position against other companies available in the industry. අපි කතා කරා අපි මෙතන ඉන්නකොට අපේ suppliers ලා ඉන්නවා අපිට ඒගොල්ලොන් එක්ක deal කරන්න වෙනවා අපිට sales intermediaries ලා ඉන්නවා final end consumers ලා ඉන්නවා ඒ වගේම අපිට parallel competitors ලා ඉන්නවා අපේ මේ industry එකේ. So we have to deal with everybody. So taking everybody together, those who are connected with the simply the process of the organization, we call them as micro environment. We identify. Yeah, Rumesh, කියන්න මොකද ප්‍රශ්නේ? Rumesh කියන්න අතුස්සන් ඉන්න exercise කරනවා. Rumesh, tell me what is the question? 504. Rumesh. Okay. Right. So then we were talking about outside that you have the macro environmental factors, right? Yeah, Ramesh, if you have a question, quickly fire. Right. Okay. So.
Okay, sir. Connection is there. Now it's okay.
Okay. Cool. Right. So may environmental perspectives we identified as the micro environmental perspectives we were talking about. We have a separate session anyway related to the micro environment and the macro environment. I mean sales environmental factors. We have a separate session. Don't worry. But you need to identify where you are operating right now. කියන එක. මොකද එහෙම නැත්නම් දන්න මේ එතනින් එළිය තියෙන environment එක we identified as the macro environmental factors, where you talk about the broad environment and the task environment which came from your side, and this is the task environment which is connected with your internal as well as all the actors that are directly connected with your business process, suppliers, channel intermediate, customers, competitors කියන කට්ටියත් එක්ක. Broad environment කියලා කිව්වහම මම කිව්වා task broad environment කියලා කියන්නේ a bit of a older approach කියන එක. අපි කියනවා macroeconomic environmental factors තමයි broad environment එක කියලා කියන්නේ, which is uncontrollable, right? So you all can see what has happened, okay, to this. Now in current context, this macro environmental perspectives will change very soon. Will not change in the sense will add some more elements into the macro environmental actor. So we'll discuss that when we are doing the macro environmental and the micro environmental perspective. So we identified the sales management and we identified how the personal selling function works in the sales management, and personal selling වලට sales management වල personal selling වලට දෙන weightage එක ගැන අපි කතා කරා. මොකද sales management function එක කියලා කිව්වම people involvement is high. Right. So how your sales team connected with the entire operation is there. So ATKP Katakara, and we identified a couple of definitions. There are definitions කීපයක් identify කරගත්තා sales management වල කතා කරපු. So these are this. ඇත්තටම sales management වල අපි කිව්වා okay මේ විකුණන එක විතරක් නෙමෙයි කියලා ඉවරලා. Right. විකුණන එක විතරක් නෙමෙයි කියලා. මොකද මීට අමතරව සෑහෙන දේවල් ටිකක් තියෙනවා sales management වල කරන්න. අපි කතා කරා okay sales operation එක handle කරන එක, planning, organizing, implementing, certain controlling, leading, motivating people, and all these things are basically connected with the sales management. We were talking about them. Right. So we identified the sales management as the part of marketing mix. Marketing mix කියලා කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියන එක you will have a separate session. අපි layman's language එකෙන් කිව්වොත් marketing mix එක තමයි business එකේ recipe එක. Right? Recipe of your business we identified as a marketing mix. Business එකේ recipe එක. දැන් කෑමක් හදන recipe එකක් ඕනේනේ. Right? අපි කෝපි එකක් හදනවා නම් කෝපි තේ හැඳි භාගයයි මිලිලීටර් 150ක් විතර කෝපි කෝප් එකට සීනි හැඳි සාමාන්‍ය මම නම් දෙකමාරක් විතර දානවා. right? හොඳට උණු කරපු වතුර වලින් තමයි mix කරන්නේ. ඒක ලස්සනට serve කරන්න ඕනේ. එහෙම තියෙන්න ඕනේනේ. ඕකට අපි ලුණු දානවද කම්මිරිස් දානවද නැහනේ. ඒතකොට කෝපි එකේ රහ එන්නේ නැහැ. ඒතකොට ඒක තමයි කෝපි එකේ recipe එක. ඒ වගේම business එකේ recipe එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒක තමයි අපි identify කරගන්නේ marketing mix කියන එක. We have a separate session on that, don't worry. So marketing mix කියන එක. ඉතින් sales management කියලා කියන්නේ it's a segment of marketing mix. ඒකේ marketing mix වලත් එක part එකක් විතර identify කරගන්නවා. So that will be there, and inside that see okay what are the areas they are talking. Sales strategies design करने का, product merchandising displays handle करने का, pricing, sales, distribution, promotion. මේ ඔක්කොම responsibilities එනවා sales management function එක ඇතුළට. ඒතොර අපි කඩේකට ගිහිල්ලා product එකක් විකුණන එකවත් ඒකම නැත්නම් client කෙනෙක් හම්බ වෙලා අපේ product එක හරි service එක හරි විකුණන එකවත් විතරක් නෙමෙයි අපි sales management කියලා කියන්නේ. It has a huge area to cover in sales management. එහෙමනම් අපිට අර විකුණනවයි කියන එක විතරයි නම් sales management කියලා කියන්නේ අපිට මෙච්චර මේ තටමලා මෙච්චර දෙයක් උගන්වන්න දෙයක් නැහැනේ. Right? But then you have to talk about the negotiation part only, the negotiation skills, how you meet the client and talk to the client and close the sale. No, sales management, strategic sales management, it's a broader perspective. So that is why we are talking about that. Another definition we were talking about sales management is defined as the planning, direction, and controlling personal selling function. Now see, that also planning, directing, and controlling personal selling function. Connect karne ka. So my sales management so it has a meaning over there. So then we identified, okay, if you are trying to become a sales manager, right? If you are trying to become a sales manager, I mean, you should have certain qualities, right? Key aspects. So strategy design karne ko ogalonge yatatata enawa, right? Operation එක plan කරන එක ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ යටතට එනවා. Sales analysis කරන එක ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ යටතට එනවා. So as a sales manager, strategic level personality. So those things are coming under your role. So you need to have those ideas. So we were talking about how, I mean, what is sales and how these two words are connected to each other. Sales is this and the management is this. Now these two are connected and then we talk about the sales management. But when it comes to strategic perspectives, right, we look at from a broader angle. අපි organization එකක pyramid එක කතා කරොත් මෙන්න මේ උඩ ඉන්න කට්ටිය ගේ level එකෙන්, ඒ කියන්නේ strategic level එකෙන් අපි මේ කතා කරන එක තමයි strategic sales management. ඒතර අපි එක department එකකට related decisions නෙමෙයි මෙතනදී ගන්න. Basically by looking at the macro perspectives, broader view එකක් අරගෙන micro environmental factors analyze කරලා macro economic environmental analyze කරලා මුළු organization එකටම ගන්න decisions තමයි strategic decisions කියලා කියන්නේ. එහෙම නැත්නම් organization එකක hierarchy එක අපි අරගත්තොත් මේම pyramid එකක මැද්දේ ඉන්නවා business layer එක. එතකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ ගන්න ඒගොල්ලෝගේ respective silos වල, I mean for their respective departments they are taking the decisions. But here it's not like that. The strategic level means the sense for the entire organization they are taking decisions. So we identified the scope of the sales management we were talking about, right? So then we identified, okay, how the personal selling, we were taking a small start on this. Personal selling කියලා කිව්වම personal selling is actually one part of marketing communication mix. Personal selling කියලා කියන්නේ අපේ communication element එකක්, my dear friends. මතක තියාගන්න. I mean we are connecting with the customers now. We are connecting with our target market and the target audience now. So call the customers and the consumers we are connecting now. So personal selling. So yeah, you have to mute your mic, please. So personal selling we considered as the involvement, personal involvement in communication. මේක අපි කතා කරන marketing mix එක අපි අර ඉස්සෙල්ලා කිව්වේ marketing mix business recipe එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා. ඒ marketing mix එක ඇතුළේ තවත් mix එකක් අපි mixes දෙකක් කතා කරනවා, product mix and the promotion mix කියලා. So inside the promotion mix we again talk about the personal selling. එතන promotion වලදී අපි communication tool එකක් විදිහට personal selling කතා කරනවා. So those will be discussing later. මම මේ හැම එකක්ම touch කරගෙන යන්නේ so that you can connect in future. අපි මෙතනදී මේක discuss කරා නේද කියන එක. Right? So management of personal selling, if you are a sales manager managing your sales team to go for your targets is one part of your sales management, because you can't run isolatedly in business. You have to manage your people, you have to manage your team, even though a small company, right? You can't play isolate game, so you have to have people over there. So ඒක අපි manage කරගෙන යනවා personal selling වලදී. So that part we will be talking about. And personal selling we were talking about, okay, our intention is to build a profitable relationship කියන එක. Profitable relationship. නිකන් relationship එකක් නෙමෙයි. Hi bye relationship එකක් නෙමෙයි. Because we need to have a profitable relationship with the target market and the target audience, then only we can gain. මම මේ ටික speed යන්නේ අපි cover කරපු දේවල් ටිකක් කියනවා. Right? So we talk about the profitable relationship because we need to have profit in the business. Otherwise, no point. අපිට නිකම් business කරන්න බෑනේ. Right? We can't give free of charge thing every day. No? So you have to have some kind of a profitable relationship to go with. And I mean, it's like delivering happiness to both sides. Now, salesman happy වෙන්නත් ඕනේ, මේ buyer happy වෙන්නත් ඕනේ. දැන් buyer happy වෙලා salesman happy වුන්නේ නැහැයි කියලා කිව්වහම ඒක ඒ journey එක දිගට ගෙනියන්න බෑ. Right? product එක ගන්න එක්කෙනා salesman ව පුළුවන් තරම් squeeze කරලා ඉවර product එක අරගන්නවා. salesman බලනවා අයියෝ මූට product එක විකුණන්න තේරුම්ක් නැහැ මට පාඩුයි. So they don't even bother after that. So your profitability also important when it comes to sales, right? Customer satisfaction කියලා ඉවරලා අපිට නිකම් බඩු දෙන්න බෑ. එහෙම එකක් නැහැ, right? එහෙම concept එකක් නැහැ. So in marketing we call okay customer satisfaction is important. Yes, but that does not mean that you have to sacrifice your satisfaction and do the business, because then you can't do in long run, right? So you need to make sure in that way. So we were talking about the difference between the exchange and the relationship management, because exchange is one-time transaction. අපිට product එක දුන්නා විකුණා සල්ලි ගත්තා ටටා බායි, then we don't have any connections after that. We may not have. Street seller operation එක වෙන්න පුළුවන්, right? Street service delivery operation එක වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Whatever you name it, right? එතකොට ඒක exchange නේ. ඊට පස්සේ customer supply ආයි meet වෙන්න නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. But I mean, let's say as example, I told you all, if the customer is meeting again and again with the client, with the supplier, so you can't have just the exchange approach over there. Ne? You need to have the relationship approach, because you might sell one product today, the next week you might sell another product, and a week after you might sell another product, and you might sell a product to person A, and you might sell a product to the person A's friend. Network marketing, right? Network marketing doesn't mean the pyramid thing, right? Network marketing. Again, peer-to-peer communication එක ගිහිල්ලා මගෙන් තව එක්කෙනෙක් මම connect කරනවා. Insurance industry we see that in big time, because most of the time when the salesperson sell an insurance policy, ඒගොල්ලෝ අහනවා ටක් ගාලා සර් සර්ගේ කවුරුවත් නැද්ද අපිට මේක introduce කරන්න. සර්ගේ කවුරුවත් නැද්ද මට මේ program එක මේ insurance policy එක promote කරන්න. So like that they talk about it, right? So relationship management. 486 yes. Right. 486 yes. So මේ නම්බර 486 කියලා කිව්වා මට එක මේ ටෙලිෆෝන් නම්බර්ස් වගේ. නමත් එක්කම දාන then I can talk. Then the perceived value. We were talking about if you are into personal selling, if you are talking about personal selling, so perceived value delivery. Perceived value delivery එක කියලා කියන්නේ mind එකට අපි product එකකට යම්කිසි value එකක් mind එකෙන් දීලා තියෙනවා. Right? එතකොට ඒ value එක match වෙනවා නම් customer happy. Now let's say as example Maruti එකක් BMW price එකට විකුණනවායි කියලා කිව්වම මූට පිස්සුද කියලා අහන්න පුළුවන්. You might ask okay පිස්සු වෙන්නේ Maruti එකක් කොහෙද BMW price එකට විකුණන්නේ. now BMW එකක් Maruti price එකට විකුණනවායි කියලා කිව්වම sure එකටම engine එක නැහැ ඇත්තු ඇති කියලා. So those things, which means why these things are happening, because in our mindset there are set of values which is pasted towards a particular product. අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම මේ whiteboard marker එකට you won't pay 100,000, you won't pay 1,000 rupees, you might pay about 150 maximum for this whiteboard marker, because that is the value which is pasted, and that is the value that is the amount you value this pay. So මේක තමයි අපේ perceived value එක කියලා කියන්නේ. So you being a salesperson, if you try to sell this product for about 1,000 rupees, and somehow let's say as example you cheat the customer and sold the product, and finally the customer will realize okay the perceived benefit what he or she is getting in real term is not there for 1,000 rupees. So in that case, he might feel that he got cheated. So if you cheat a customer, he will not return to you. So the relationship marketing, the satisfaction will not be there. So capturing the perceived value, මේ mind එකට attack කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ mind එක capture කරන එක. සහ heart එක capture කරන එක. මේ තමයි අපේ challenge එක තියෙන්නේ salesman කෙනෙක් විදියට. So perceived value satisfaction එක. And the customer satisfaction. Yes, ඒ කියන්නේ customer satisfaction එක තියෙනවා if we can basically make sure that we deliver what the customer is really expecting. right? I mean, apita hari lazy sale එක කරන්න customer expect කරන දේ අපිට දෙන්න පුළුවන් නම්, because customer is expecting something and now people try to do something else. So එතන පොඩි challenge එකක් තියෙනවා, but that doesn't mean the customer always expect the right thing. You got to understand that sometimes the customer might not expect the right thing. He doesn't know, he might not know, he might not have a knowledge about it. So in that case, customer might be a confused customer where the salesperson is going into a consultative approach and win. So whatever the way, what you got to think of, okay, customer ke perceived value එක capture කරලා ඉවර වෙලා ඒකෙන් customer satisfaction එක build කරනවා කියන එක තමයි you got to make sure in your approach, right? Then we started this thanks to Saubhagya Dakma power එක ගියා, so we had to stop from there itself. So loyalty part. So loyalty කියලා කිව්වහම, okay, before I start loyalty from there, any questions, guys? Any questions? Anyone is having any questions before I start the loyalty part?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Amirant. So like there were like certain slide definitions under sales management. Certain slides are there. So if we get a question like what is sales management, actually what is the thing we should take?
It's like this, right? Okay, you can design your sales management. I mean, they don't usually ask, okay, what is the definition kind of a thing. You need to get an overall picture, and don't be people like those who are memorizing and put things out. But when you explain it, you have to cover the gamut of what is really expect over there. Now, let's say as example, okay, though the MCQ question is not, though the essay type questions are not there. Let's say someone asks, okay, what is sales management, right? Sales management is a broader perspective. So managing people, managing the entire organization perspectives, including the planning, controlling, arranging resources, right? Human resource planning and everything, and reaching the organizational target, the sales objectives or the financial objectives continuously, not limited to one or two months. So there are many definitions. So which one is correct is a question mark. Everything is correct. So if you come up with your own explanation, right, covering those areas, the key points, that is there. Now, if I take you to the very first definition here. Sales management is the management of personal selling function, right? එතකොට මේක ඇතුලේ බලන්න personal selling function එක manage කරනවා කියන එක ඇතුලේ strategic planning තියෙනවා, organizing resources තියෙනවා, leading motivating people තියෙනවා, controlling people. So here also same. මේ හැම එකකම core is same. Whatever the definitions you get, the core is same. So, I mean, that is where we need to look at. So once you identify the concept, you can design and explain the things. එකම කියන්නේ මේ sales management කියලා කිව්වම it's a broader area. අපිට මේ පොඩි definition එකකට හිර වෙලා යනවායි කියන එක අපිට එහෙම කරන්න පුළුවන් දෙයක් නෙමෙයි. Who was asking that question, by the way? It's good.
Me, Hiran, sir. Thank you so much for the clarification.
No worries.
And there's another small confusion I have, like when it comes to merchandise and sales executive, is there a particular difference or is the same kind of role in two different companies, or how does it function?
Yeah, it's like this. The merchandising word used in different ways in different industries. When it comes to the garment manufacturing industry, the person who is into sales, we identified as the merchandisers, those who are connected with the client. But the term merchandising, when you really look at, even in your, let's say the retail industry, the merchandising is basically part of a display and communication. So let's say you talk about supermarket arrangement. It is a merchandising part, which means arranging a display. So we call it together merchandising and display. Now, let's say as example, you talk about allocating your people in fashion outlets. Okay, so they are managing the merchandising and display over there, and he is a salesperson who is managing the merchandising display over there. Now අපි fashion outlets කීප එක ඕගොල්ලෝගේ තියෙනවයි කියලා හිතමුකෝ products ඕගොල්ලෝගේ කෝණ එකක් තියෙනවයි කියලා හිතමුකෝ. එතකොට ඒගොල්ලෝගේ part එක තමයි මේ display merchandises handle කරන එක. merchandising. ඒතර merchandiser කෙනෙක් කියලා කිව්වහම it's used highly in the garment manufacturing industry, that word, but the role, when you really look at, it's the part of a sales and the business development role, right? ඒක ඒ විදිහට තමයි මේ ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එක ඇතුලේ යූස් වෙන්නේ. දැන් අපි සමහර වෙලාවට සේල්ස්මන්ට සේල්ස් මැනේජර්ට සමහර වෙලාවට client relationship manager client manager කියලා කියනවා. key account manager කියලා. Key account manager is having a separate role because he is looking after only few key accounts, right? So and සමහර business development managers ලා ඉන්නවා ඒ උනාට එයා handle කරන්නේ key accounts, but the name is different. So it's like that. It's like that. But job role එකක් විදිහට આવොත් garment manufacturing industry එක තමයි merchandisers ලා කියලා අපිට දකින්න පුළුවන් job role එකක් විදිහට. Clear? No worries. Any more questions? Any more questions, guys? Any more questions? Right, okay. So there's a question, it says. How sales management differ with the marketing management? It has a huge definition. It's a huge differentiation is there. මම අර ගිය සතියේ කිව්වා වගේ marketing management එක entire ocean එක නම් sales management එක තමයි ship එක organization එක. It has a huge view. තව විදිහකට summarize කරොත් marketing management is no more a concept, it's a philosophy, but sales is a concept. ඉතින් ඕගොල්ලන්ට marketing කතා කරනකොට එතන තේරෙයි ඒක broader perspective එකක්. Sales කියලා කිව්වම I'm not saying narrow perspective එකක් කියන එක, but that also covers the entire organization, but marketing it looks more than that. Right. So yeah, let's move forward with this. So we talk about the loyalty, right? Customer loyalty. Loyalty එක කියලා කියන්නේ අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම customer කෙනෙක් කොච්චර කල් organization එකත් එක්ක ඉන්නවද? Why the reason for customer to be with the organization? Build the loyalty. So we know, I mean, like you can't create a loyalty overnight. Okay, so you have to work for it. You have to first I mean, the moment you go and talk to the client, you can't say he's a loyal client. No, you can't do like that. Sometimes the client might talk to you very nicely, right? And the salesperson might say, okay, customer customer magen badu godak gani. No, it's not like that. Especially when it comes to Sri Lankan culture, because the people don't like hurting another person. So I mean, they might smile at you, they might talk nicely, but they might not buy your product. They might not buy your product. So loyalty is a situation where customer engage with you for a longer period and stay with your organization for a longer period and grow with your business, and he also happy with your supply, and you also happy with his his or her return what you are getting from his or her. So that is how the loyalties bring. It's not one-way game, my dear friends, because you are committing from your side because the customer is profitable. Customer is committing with yourself because he is profitable and he is happy with your side. So when these two are merged together, bridged together, so loyalty slowly build automatically with the clients. So loyalty we are expecting from the client, because once you have the loyalty, your effort can, I'm not saying reduce, you can gain more and more revenues from the loyal customers. So that is the beauty. Because usually ඕගොල්ලෝ කල්පනා කරන්න ඕගොල්ලෝගේ database එක අරගත්තොත් handle කරන clients ලා ගත්තොත් maybe retail shops වෙන්න පුළුවන්. පළවෙනි දවසේ මුදලාලිව හම්බ වෙන්න යනවා, 7-5කට මුදලාලි ගණන් ගන්න නැහැ. දෙවෙනි දවසේ මුදලාලිව හම්බ වෙන්න යනවා, මුදලාලි hina වෙනවා, ඒ උනාට ගණන් ගන්න නැහැ. ලොකුවට මේකක් කරන්නේ නැහැ, attention එක දෙන්නේ නැහැ. තුන්වෙනි දවසේ මුදලාලිට පව් කියලා හිතලා මොකෝ ඔයා මේ එන්නේ මට ආවට කතා කරන්න හම්බුනේ නැහැ කියලා. This is the reality. Okay, some sales executives, sales reps are facing. So ඒතර සමහරවිට තුන්වෙනි දවසේ products ටික මේ පෙන්නලා යනවා, product price list එක ගැන දීලා යනවා. දෙන්න හතරවෙනි දවසේ, පස්වෙනි දවසේ, හයවෙනි දවසේ ආවට පස්සේ මුදලාලි ආව කෑලි 5-6ක් දාලා යන්නේ කියලා කියනවා. ඊට පස්සේ ඒ ටික මුදලාලි ඒ කෑලි 5-6ක් දාලා ගියාට මුදලාලිට මතකත් නැහැ මේ සේල්ස්මන් හිටියද නැද්ද කියන එක. රයිට්, මෙයා දීපු බඩු මොනවද කියන එක. ඊට පස්සේ මුදලාලි කල්පනා කරනවා සමාලා ෂෙල්ෆ් එක දිහා බලලා මේක එව්වේ කවුද මේක ඇවිල්ලා මේ බඩු ටික දීලා ගියේ. So I mean එහෙම ටික ආයි දෙවෙනි පාර ආවට පස්සේ මුදලාලි මගේ බඩු ටික කොහොමද විකුණුනාද? ඔයාගේද මේ බඩු ටික මට මතක නැතුව හිටියේ මේ කවුද සප්ලයි කරේ කියලා. So things are happening like that. You can't build loyalty overnight. Right? ඕගොල්ලෝ corporate client කෙනෙක් ගාවට යන්න පුළුවන්. You might visit to a corporate client and you might talk about your products, and the same client is getting your competitors also there, and you might be in a different basket than your competitor, and he might forget you and he might remember your competitor because the way you approach. Sometimes he might remember you since you are a nice looking person and you talk nicely, and so but he might not prefer your product and your solutions or services when it comes to B2B operations. So loyalty you can't build overnight. Customers la කතා කරපු පළියට එකපාරටම හරි මේක දැන් අපෙන් බඩු ගන්නේ දිගටම කියලිවල. No, it's like not like that. Sometimes the customer might buy make the first purchase just to get rid of the hassle from you. Especially we see this in certain service deliveries. Customer is purchasing the product to get rid of the hassle from the salesperson. So especially api samaralaata salesperson insurance scheme කරන salesperson කෙනෙක් promote කරන්න එන ලොකු policies අරගෙන. But now by looking at the push, sometimes the customer might say මම මෙයාගෙන් පොඩි එකක් අරගෙන මේවා කරන්නම් කියලා රුපියල් 10000ට promote කරපු monthly premium එක රුපියල් 500කට 600කට එහෙම නැත්නම් රුපියල් 1000කට වගේ work out කළා. So I'll buy this කියලිවල. So just to get rid of the hassle වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So like that. So but he might talk nicely. He might I mean whenever he meets you on the road, maybe he might engage with you, but loyalty is not there. Loyalty is a much bigger thing than that, But how do we build the loyalty, and what is the first step in building the loyalty? Remember, you being a salesperson, you have certain steps to be taken to build the loyalty. Right? අපි ගමු උදාහරණයක් විදියට a client whom you have not met before. කලින් meet වෙච්ච නැති client කෙනෙක්. So you enter into the sales industry and you search your client, you search your potential customers, right? You search your prospects. There are so many ways to prospect clients. Prospect කියලා කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ prospecting කියලා කියන්නේ potential clients ලා, future customers ලා හොයනවා. Directories බලලා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් කලින් databases analyze කරලා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. customer ගේ journey එක measure කරලා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Customer in the sense the potential customers ලාගේ journey එක measure කරලා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So you look at whom I can convert as a customer කියලා. So let's say as example, if you're right, hypothetical example, if you take, okay, your product goes to the segment of CEOs. The company වල ඉන්න CEOs ලාට තමයි වගේ product එක සාමාන්‍යයෙන් යන්නේ. So because it's kind of a high value products and your target segment is that. And in Sri Lanka, we do have about 25,000 over 25,000 private limited companies available in Sri Lanka. Now it's more than I'm not quite sure the exact figure. Let's say 50,000 private limited companies are available in Sri Lanka. Now in that case, I mean, you have 50,000 CEOs. No? You have 50,000 CEOs. So, I mean, 50,000 CEOs in the sense, does that mean that you can go behind each and every 50,000 CEOs and sell your product? No, practically no, you can't do that. So out of those base, you need to prospect and qualify based on different factors. අපි prospect කරනකොට තමයි use කරනවා එක එක parameters use කරනවා. We'll be studying segmentation වලින් අපි prospect කරනවා pre approach කළා ඒ කියන්නේ ground study කරලා ඉවල අපි prospect finalize කරගන්නවා කාවද අපි approach කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා. So prospect කියලා කියන්නේ අපේ product එක future එකේ අපේ product එක ගනී කියලා විශ්වාස කරන කට්ටිය තමයි we identify them as prospects, right? We identify them as prospects. So what do you do once you identify a prospect? Okay, initially the customer will become a prospect. So I will touch only this diagram for time being, not the process. Okay, not the process. I will show you how this diagram and the process connected. So prospect කෙනෙක් අපි effort එක දාලා ඉවරලා අපි මොකද්ද කරන්නේ? අපි යාව first transaction එක කරලා customer කෙනෙක් කරගන්න. අපි full effort එක දානවා, let's say as example, and convert them as a customer. Now he is no more a prospect because he or she has already entered into the business with you, and he's one of your customer. But I mean, if he doesn't need to, if he doesn't like to engage with you for future deals or future sales, he will just become one-time customer for you. But your intention should be to convert him into kind of a loyalty states. දැන් සමහර එක්කෙනෙක් ආන්න පුළුවන් දැන් එකපාරක් විතරක් ඕන කරන ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකක් තියෙනවා නම් අපි කොහොමද යාව ලොයල් කරගන්න ජීවිතේටම එකපාරක් විතරයි නම් ඒ ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක ගන්න ඕන. So that means you talk about, you sell the product and forget the customer, letting customer to use the product whatever the way he wants, and you forget the customer. No. So you might sell a product for him or her which is needed only once in lifetime. Maybe let's say as an example, right? අපි හිතමු දෙපාරක් බඳින්න පළවෙනි පාර විතරයි එකපාරයි බඳින්න කියලා ඉවල උදාහරණයක් විතර. So එතනදී wedding event management company එකක්, right? ඕගොල්ලෝ බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ නැහැ නේ මේ අකාව දෙපාරක් බඳින්න. හරි. එතකොට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ පළවෙනි පාර එයාව කස්ටමර් කෙනෙක් කරගන්න. So එතනින් එහාට අපි එයාව loyal client කෙනෙක් කරගන්න අපි මොනවද කරන්න ඕන වැඩ ටික, right? As an example, so you need to think of. So අපි wedding event එක කරලා ඉවරලා සද්ද වහලා සල්ලි ටික අරගෙන හිටියා නම්, right? So he might be just a one time customer. මේ industry එකේ ගොඩක් කට්ටියට face කරන problem එකක් මේක, especially the event management industry එකේ ගොඩක් කට්ටියට. එතකොට ඒ relationship එක you need to maintain for a longer period. Interaction you need to maintain for a longer period. So otherwise you can't convert them, because from these people you can convert referrals. So salesman කෙනෙක්ට referrals කියලා කියන්නේ සෑහෙන්න වැදගත්. referral එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ ඒ client තව client කෙනෙක්ව introduce කරලා දෙන එක. මේ journey එකේ ඕගොල්ලෝ loyalty එක build කරගන්නකොට that is so important, my dear friends. So one time customer, you have to continuously engage with the client. If you have additional products, by selling those products maybe. Right? If you don't have additional products but continuously engage with the client, now the social medias are there, digital marketing are there, right? එතකොට ඒ වගේ දේවල් වලින් දැන් event management, wedding event management connect කරලා ඊළඟ අවුරුද්දේ client wish කරලා ඉවරලා we were doing your wedding event කියලා කියන්නේ නැතුව, right? They can you can send a anniversary greeting cards saying that okay, congratulations, 1 year. සමහරලාට බැඳපු එක්කෙනාට මතකත් නෑ අවුරුද්දක් ගියාද කියලා ඉවරලා. event management company එකෙන් තමයි කාඩ් එක ඒවල මතක් කරන්නේ you are celebrating and we invite you to join one of our event. So and come on, some kind of engagements we need to look at. So අපිට lifetime එක product එකක් විකුණන නම් ඒ වගේ engagements අපි continue කරන්න ඕනේ. Then that person remember, oh my goodness, මේ company එකට මාව මතකයි. Wow, that's super. You should build the wow factors in the client. So එතකොට gradually we convert the customer into a bit of a more decent position we call client. අපිට ඒ වගේ කෙනෙක්ට අපි කියනවා client කෙනෙක් කියලා. So then you continuously engage with the client and convert them as supporters for the business. හැම client කෙනෙක්ම supporter කෙනෙක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ, හැම customer කෙනෙක්ම client කෙනෙක් වෙන්නේ නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. But your intention should be to convert them. ඕගොල්ලෝ sales management වල මගේ දැන් customer දැන් ඔයා client කෙනෙක් වෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා පැත්තකට වාඩිලා හිටියොත් එයා client කෙනෙක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ, ඔයාව client කෙනෙක් කරගන්නෙත් නැහැ. So your activities, depending on the industry, you have to implement. So supporter status in the sense, certain customers, right? Certain customers supporting the sales person with certain values, right? සමහරවිට ඕගොල්ලෝගේ customers ලා ඇති computer එකේ pricing ඕගොල්ලන්ට කතා කරලා කියනවා මේ price එකට quote කරන computer මේ විදිහට මේ pricing එවලා තියෙනවා, computer එකේ product එක මේ වගේ features තියෙනවා, ඕගොල්ලන්ට පුළුවන් නම් ඒ වගේ දෙන්න, එතකොට අපි ඕගොල්ලෝගෙන් ගන්න පුළුවන්. So they are supporting you all. They are supporting you all, right? So client works as a supporter for the business. Sometimes the industry information, trade secrets client pass කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේ දවස්වල මේ product එකට demand එක තියෙනවා, පුළුවන් නම් මේ products අරන් එන්න වැඩිපුර we can sell. So trade secrets sometimes might provide by the client. Cross selling, upselling වලින් support කරන්න පුළුවන් client. දැන් ඕගොල්ලෝ you are selling one product to the client and client might say, look here, you have another product, so give that also, I will try to push. He's supporting you, no? He's supporting you. So we have clients like that. Our intention should be to convert the client into those levels. Then it is easy for us to do our business, because finally the client is doing sales for us. So that it goes into that level. And some customers are turning into advising salespeople, right? I have seen sometimes, okay, we sit with certain companies sometimes to the field, and some other customers like mali me vidira karanna ඕගොල්ලෝ මේවා කරන්න advice කරනවා, salesman advice කරනවා, right? So sales managers la සමහරලාට customer ගෙන් අහගෙන මේ strategies change කරන වෙලාවල් තියෙනවා. So advice කරනවා, client advice කරනවා, customer advice කරනවා මේ දේවල් කරන්න කියලා. So sometimes the client is playing a role of an advocate, right? So I mean, you can say finally, and with that behavior we see a loyal client build with the organization over a period. So you got to identify this pattern. I think make a overnight අපිට කරන්න පුළුවන් දෙයක් නෙමෙයි. Gradually we have to build, because when we build this gradually, the deep bond will be very much stronger. Then the client or the advocate or the loyal customer will not leave the organization, and they will support you throughout. So that is what we really need there. So when you really look at, my dear friends, okay, before I go to this process, මොනවා හරි question එකක් තියෙනවද මෙන්න මේ loyalty ladder එක ගැන? මේකෙන් question එන්න පුළුවන් MCQs වලට. You might get questions for MCQs from this. Any questions there? Anyone is having any questions? Anyone is having any questions?
Excuse me, sir. Can you explain again the customer with first transactions?
Customer with the first transaction in the sense here. Make it.
Oh.
Okay.
Yes, clear.
Yeah, it's like this. It's like this. Now, once you prospect කියලා කියන්නේ potential customer, right? A person whom you can convert to a customer we identified as a potential customer, right? Now, every prospect will not be able to convert to a customer. මම අර ඉස්සෙල්ලා කිව්වා වගේ CEOs ලා 1000කගේ database එකක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. but ඔය CEOs ලා දාහම අපිට customers ලා කරගන්න බැරි වෙන්න පුළුවන්. But they are prospects. They are prospects. So what do? We do a groundwork. දැන් ඒක කොහොමද කරගන්නේ කියන එකට යන එක මම මෙතනදී brief කරන්න. So මොකද කරන්නේ අපි කොහොම හරි client මේ prospect initial transaction එකත් එක්ක අපි මොකද්ද කරන්නේ? යාව customer කෙනෙක් කරගන්නවා. customer කෙනෙක් කරගන්නවායි කියලා කියන්නේ we are converting him to a customer means you sell a product. You sell a product. So which means what? You enter into exchange process. So now he knows you, he started engaging with you. Now you have some kind of a foundation filled over there to build the relationship further. And from this point to this point, slowly the relationship increase. From this point to this point increase, this point to this point increase, this point to this point increase. Loyalty slowly increase from each and every steps what you are taking with the client. So finally your intention should be to convert the client into a loyal client. But ඒක කරන්න නම් අපි loyal client කෙනෙක් කරන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා customer කෙනෙක් කරගෙන ඉන්න එපා. customer කෙනෙක් කරගන්න අපි මොකද්ද කරන්නේ? අපි sales personal selling approach එක අපි practice කරනවා. ඒකයි මේ personal selling process එක මෙතන තියෙන්නේ. මෙන්න මේ දෙක අතර ලොකු role එකක් තියෙනවා client කෙනෙක් prospect කෙනෙක්ව customer කෙනෙක් කරන්න. ඒකයි මේ personal selling process එක මෙතනට ටච් කරලා තියෙන්නේ මේ කොහෙටවත් නැතුව මෙන්න මේ දෙක අතර අපිට කරන්න වැඩ ගොඩක් තියෙනවා මේ prospect කෙනෙක්ව customer කෙනෙක් කරගෙන ඉස්සරහට ගෙනියන්න. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Thanks.
No worries. So I saw text. Can you indicate the type of questions which will get in NCQs? Right, Jerome. Yeah, you. මේ loyalty ladder එකෙන් questions හදන්න පුළුවන් 10කට එහා. Right? So
Okay.
I can't tell. Okay. No, that's good asking. But මෙන්න මේ model එකෙන් විතරක් I think you have for the moment you have about 10 questions only from this model. සමහර වෙලාවට fill in the blanks වලින් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මේ process එක දීලා fill කරන්න වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් process එකේ කීපයක් දීලා order මේ අඩුපාඩු ටික fill කරන්න වෙන්න පුළුවන්. process එක order එක හරියට හදන්න වෙන්න පුළුවන්. right? එහෙම නැත්නම් සමහරලාට මේකේ meaning එක හරිද කියලා හරි answer එක select කරන්න පුළුවන්. So there are many. So already there are about 10 to 15 questions only from this. Right? Model එක study කරන්න. Model එක study කරාම you will get an idea, right? You identify the process. Okay, step by step approach එක. මොකද prospect කෙනෙක් එකපාරටම මේ loyal customer කෙනෙක්වත් advocate කෙනෙක්වත් වෙන්නේ නැහැ because first you have to convert into a customer, right? Then only it goes slowly. So identify the mechanism, then you will be okay. Clear නේද Jerome?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
No worries. Okay, so now we were talking about guys, now this one, right? Now why this process we identified as the selling process. Okay, මේ process එක අපි identify කරගන්න selling process එකේදී. So this process anyway we'll be discussing again, but why I have taken here because you have a connectivity. දැන් ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා sales කරන එක්කෙනාට මේ prospect කෙනෙක්ව අපි කොහොමද මේ මූ කොච්චර කිව්වත් අපි කොහොමද මේ prospect ව customer කෙනෙක් කරගන්නේ? I can tell no, so many stories I can tell. So what are the steps we can take to convert this prospect into a customer first? So then only we can think the rest. Guys, look at carefully. So your initial step is to identify the prospect. If you fail to identify the prospect, you can't do from there. Now the potential customer කවුද කියන එක identify කරගන්නතෝ we will have to shoot haywire. right? අපිට ටාගට් එක අපේ ටාගට් එක මොකද්ද අපේ enemy ගේ ටාගට් එක මොකද්ද කියලා දන්නේ නැත්නම් අපි වටේටම shoot කරලා ඉවර බුලට් එක වේස් කරන එක විතරයි වෙන්නේ. So if we know to whom to attack, at least we can target that particular area and attack. So you got to identify that. So identifying that target set of customers, the potential customers, the future customers, as I said, the prospecting. Now look at, before we convert this prospect into a customer, we have certain steps. Look at this. Now we talk about pre-approach one. Client client කෙනෙක්ව convert කරන්න කලින් customer prospect කෙනෙක්ව customer කෙනෙක්ට convert කරන්න කලින්, if especially when it comes to the B2B operation, you got to have a clear idea about your client. I will come what is B2B, don't worry. So you got to have a clear idea about your client. Client in the sense your prospect. Prospect ගේ කැමැත්ත අකමැත්ත මොනවද? Prospect ගේ සමහරලාට family backgrounds මොනවද? Prospect ගේ සමහර වෙලාවට income එක මොකද්ද? Prospect යන club එක මොකද්ද? Prospect කරන sports එක මොකද්ද? Prospect ගේ තියෙන අනිත් business මොනවද? So you need to do a groundwork to identify the prospect. Right? So you need to do a groundwork to identify the prospect. So prospect මෙතන pharmacy එකක් තියෙනවා. නමුත් pharmacy එක නෙමෙයි main business එක hardware 10ක් විතර තියෙනවා. නමුත් hardware එක පේන්නේ නැහැ. pharmacy එක තියෙන එක විතරයි ඔයා දකින්නේ. ඔයා විකුණන්නේ hardware items, but you don't say මේ pharmacy එකක් විතරයි කරන්නේ මට මෙයා වැඩක් නැහැ. So you don't study that prospect properly. So once you study the person, you identify his other businesses, his liking, the family, and all the other things. So that approach we identified as pre-approach. ඒ කියන්නේ approach එකට කලින් approach එක. ඒ කියන්නේ customer එක්ක engage වෙන්න කලින් approach එක. So that we identified as the pre-approach stage. Then අපි customer approach කරන්න යන්නේ idea එකක් ඇතුව. Right? We are going to approach the prospect with an idea to convert him to a customer. So when you go and talk to him, you know his background, you know, his liking, preferences, and the convictions, you know, his buying capacity. Very little things you might not know. When you manage your wordings, the way you talk, everything. Now, customer tie දාලා ඉන්නවා කියලා හිතමු. උදාහරණයකට customer ඉන්නේ company එකට එනකොට tie දාලා හොඳට ලස්සනට tie code දාලා ඉන්නවා. නමුත් ඉංග්‍රීසි බෑ. ඔයා හිතනවා දැන් මේ customer දැක්ක ගමන් මොකද්ද දැන් මේ customer ට හොඳට ඉංග්‍රීසි පුළුවන් කියලා you start talking in English. Customer might keep a little bit of silent and ask you to move out. So ඔන්න ඕක පවා අපි idea එක ගන්න ඕනේ. Client ගේ background එක අපි idea එක අරගත්තට පස්සේ it is very much easy for you to approach and handle that situation. So once you approach with the pre-approach study, මේ pre-approach එක කියලා කියන්නේ study එකක්. ඒ study එක මොකද්ද? customer ගැන කරන study එකක් pre-approach එක කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒක ඊට පස්සේ අපි client ව approach කරනවා. Right? We are approaching the client and we basically do start talking to the client, start introducing yourself, start talking about the products and the other things. Remember, my dear friends, first sell yourself, right? Especially when it comes to the personal selling approach. Okay, so first sell yourself before selling your product and get the comfortability for customer to deal with you before uttering a single word of your product. Okay, let the customer feel that you're a person whom he can trust to continue his business, especially when you guys are dealing with the business community, right? No hanky panky. They need the people, those whom can trust them. So do personal presentation properly, approach him, educate him, give idea about yourself, your background, and match things. Okay, so client likes this, even you like this. Sometimes you might not like this, but you just you just talk about it. Then soccer වලට කැමති client කෙනෙක් ගාවට කියලා cricket කතා කරාට වැඩක් නැහැ. cricket වලට කැමති client කෙනෙක් ගාවට කියලා ඔයා soccer වලට කැමති නම් ඔයා soccer කතා කරාට වැඩක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. So if the client prefer cricket, you should gel with the client in that area. So on පොඩි දෙයක් සමහර වෙලාවට we might miss the grip of the client. අපේ client ගේ grip එක miss වෙන පොඩි දෙයක් ඇති. Never talk sensitive subjects like politics along with the clients, right? Never talk never ask sensitive questions like, especially when it comes to the female clients, age or income, even the income from the male clients. You shouldn't do that. So whether married or not married. So that is what you have to find from the groundwork, what you do. So those sensitive questions you shouldn't fire. So many presentation demonstration kalla client ke prashna tika handle kalla, then you are closing the deal, the first deal, and that is where you convert this prospect into a customer. That is where you convert this prospect into a customer, my dear friends. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි මේ follow up අපි ඔක්කොම කරන්නේ මෙයා loyal කෙනෙක් client කෙනෙක් ගාවට ගෙනියන්න. So these 7 steps we identified as the personal selling process steps. personal selling process steps. So personal selling process step එකේ sale එක close කරාට පස්සේ අපි follow up කියන එක කරේ නැත්නම් මෙන්න මෙතනින් එහාට තියෙන loyalty එක build කරගන්න තියෙන steps ටික we might lose it. So these are the connectivity between these two models. සමහර ලාට ඕගොල්ලෝ මේ models දෙක isolatedly ඉගෙන ගන්න ඇති. නමුත් මේ දෙකේ connectivity එක ඉගෙන ගන්න නැතුව ඇති. So this is the connectivity between these two models. So මේ process එකත් ඔය විදිහටම MCQs වලින් text කරනවා. Another theory area where you all need to look at. Any question? කවුරු හරි එක්කෙනෙක් raise hand කරා පුතා session එක යනකොට සමහර වෙලාවට මම නතර කරන්නේ නැහැ raise hand වලට. Okay, can you indicate the type of questions again? Vijendra ඔයා තමයි raise hand එකක් කරේ. What is the reason? Vijendra, you raise hand, I guess. Sorry, Vajendra. Right, okay. So any questions? May model leke. Any questions? Models තියනවා ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ඉගෙන ගන්න සෑහෙන්න හොඳේ. Strategic sales management නිකන් sales management එකක් නෙමෙයිනේ. Models තියනවා සෑහෙන්න ඉගෙන ගන්න. Any question?
Sir, can you please explain a bit on this handling objection section after this presentation?
Yeah. So handling objections in the sense it's like this. Now handling objections. Okay. Objections does not mean rejection. අපේ මිනිස්සුගේ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නයක් තමයි objection එක rejection එකට equal කරන එක. Right? Objection එක කියලා කියන්නේ rejection එක. Objection is an opportunity for a salesperson. Client ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහපු ගමන් අපේ sales කරන්නේ දතකට පුට්ටු වෙනවා. මම මේ වචන use කරනවා can't help girls ලා ඉන්නවා මෙතන. Right? මේ සමා වෙන්න ඕනේ ඕගොල්ලන්ට සමහරලාට uncomfortable වෙනවා නම් මේක තමයි ඇත්ත. client කෙනෙක් ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහපු ගමන් salesman ගේ දතකට පුට්ටු වෙනවා. අන්නම්බෝ මෙයාක ප්‍රශ්න අහනවා කියන්නේ. No, that indicates the opportunity. Client ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න තමයි ඕගොල්ලන්ට client ගේ background එක අහගන්න පුළුවන්. හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්. client ගේ likings හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්. client ගෙන් ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න බය වෙන්න එපා. cross question කරන්න බය වෙන්න එපා කවදාවත්. So cross question කරන්න බය වෙන්න එපා කියලා අනවශ්‍ය questions නෙමෙයි as I said earlier. You need to break your limits. You need to have your limits rather. So you need to make sure that you be in that particular limit and ask the question. So make sure you ask questions from the client. So why, I mean, if client said, okay, he doesn't like this. So you need to ask, okay, what is the reason? You can ask, what is the reason? Okay, any reason related to the product or pricing? Samahara velawata. Give me 1 minute. It's raining outside. I will close the window and come. So handling objections කියලා කිව්වහම ඒ කියන්නේ client අහන ප්‍රශ්න වලට උත්තර දෙන එක, client තව clarifications තියෙනවා නම් ඒවා කරලා දෙන එක. So සහ ඒ අතරතුර client කෙනෙක් ප්‍රශ්න අහලා ඕගොල්ලන්ට clarify කරගන්න තියෙන දේවල් ගැන අහන එක. So සමහර වෙලාවට so what type of a budget you have to go for this project? What type of a financing pattern you have to buy this product? Is it a lease method? Is it upfront cash or credit card? So you can ask those questions. So handling objections කියලා කියන්නේ rejections නෙමෙයි කියන එක මතක තියාගන්න. සහ you're giving more inputs to the client to convince him for final sale. In the sense deal එක close කරන්න. මම deal එක කියලා කිව්වම political basil රාජපක්ෂලා දාන deal නෙමෙයි. Right? So මේ deal එක sales deal එක close කරන්න දාන දේවල් ටික තමයි ඒ කියන්නේ අහන questions ටික handle කරන ප්‍රශ්න ටික customer ට clear කරලා දෙන data ටික තමයි handling objections කියලා කියන්නේ. Am I clear? Who was asking that question? Good.
It's your answer. Yeah, it's clear. Thank you so much.
No worries. Okay. Any more questions? Anyone is having any more questions?
Excuse me, customer buying decision එක එතන handling objection දී වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්ද?
So it's like this. මේ sequence එකේ handling objections දැන් client කෙනෙක් clear වුණාට පස්සේ තමයි එයා buying decision එකට යන්නේ. ප්‍රශ්නාර්ථයක් තියාගෙන client කෙනෙක් product එකක් ගත්තොත් එහෙම එයා එතනින් එහාට confuse post purchase pattern එකද. මේක තව එකක් වෙනවා buying behavior එක link වෙනවා, right? ඔයගොල්ලෝ ගත්තොත් එහෙම උදාහරණයක් විදියට post purchase pattern in post purchase behavior එහෙම නැත්නම් buying behavior process මේ හැම එකක්ම එකකට එකක් connected. නමුත් connectivity එක ගොඩක් වෙලාවට කියලා දෙන්නේ නැහැ. So we'll be discussing that. So client කෙනෙක් product එකට clear නම් තමයි product එකට okay නම් තමයි එයා purchase කරන්නේ. Right? එතකොට objections handle කරලා ඉවරලා client clear නම් product එක purchase කරන්න okay කියන නම් තමයි එයා sale එක close කරන්නේ. Right? එහෙම confusion එකක් තියාගෙන sale එක close කරන්න very unlikely. Unless client doesn't bother. මම අර ඉස්සෙල්ලා කිව්වේ hassle එකෙන් බේරෙන්න sale එක close කරලා දානවා. අර ඒ වගේ situation එකේ client right okay කමන්නේ one time නේ ආයෙත් මට මොකද්ද මේක මේ කරදරෙත් ඉවරයිනේ කියලා ඒ වගේ hassle එකකින් බේරෙන්න close කරන්න පුළුවන්. But client clear නැත්තම් product එක purchase එකකට යන්නේ නැහැ usual operation එකේ. Clear that? So ඒකයි ඇත්තටම handling objection එකෙන් පස්සේ මෙතන දාන්නේ. හැබැයි close කරාට පස්සේ client purchase කරාට පස්සේ post purchase behavior එකේදී එනවා service approach ඒවා මේවා. එතනදී ආයි මේ process continue වෙනවා වෙන වෙන විදියට. පැහැදිලිද? Who was asking that question? Good. Who was asking that question, by the way?
Clarence.
Clarence, yeah.
Yeah.
පැහැදිලිද Clarence? Are you okay?
Oh, sir. Clear.
Okay. Sir, what are the tools we can use when handling arguments with the customer? When handling arguments, okay, very good. So negotiations වලදී අපි කරනවා මේක. We need to win the customer, but not the argument. Very true. So how do we want to convince our point without going into argument? Okay, very good. Can you elaborate this some practical example? Okay. It's like this. This is one of the negotiation techniques. Okay, arguments are not serving the purpose along with the client, but there are situations where you have to argue and break the client. There are enough and more incidents in my life where I had to argue and tell you're wrong. You're wrong. If the client wrong is, it's wrong, right? You can't always say the client right. Okay, so but you have to justify. You have to justify taking a calculated risk. You have to justify the client. Sometimes you might lose the client, but you have to take a calculated risk on it, and you have to have all the ammunitions, weapons. You have to go in arguments like that. But you should make sure if you go into an argument with the client, you have all the weapons to win the deal. Otherwise, you will lose your credibility in front of the client. So best thing, if a client comes into argument in the sense you got to filter what is the reason behind this argument. Is it really behind our failure, right? Is it really behind the customer? Trying to be so smart in front of you, and is it something else? So you got to scan and identify why he or she comes into an argument. So, if he or she comes into an argument, you don't jump the gun and start firing the person. No. Listen to the client very carefully, and you once let him or her talk as much as possible. Let him or her talk as much as possible. So when he or she is talking as much as possible, right? Sometimes you might not ask even the question. So let him talk and until he complete his discussion. So you have to listen very carefully. So when you listen, if you are a good listener, you might sometimes even capture certain points where you can counter. Counter does not mean that counter argument. To find a solution for that particular argument he is coming into. Out of his own words, out of his own things, you can identify. He's arguing because he is having this concern. Now, let's say as example, customer comes and argue with you. He likes the product, but he doesn't like to deal with your company because of the previous experience he had with one of your ex-service person, right? Ex-sales person, right? He comes and talk all the rubbish. But he doesn't mention, okay, he got basically cheated from a previous person, but he loves the product. So listen, and he identified, okay, he loves the product, which means he's having some kind of experience with the product. So why not this? Why not this? So slowly initiate by looking at his thing. Never go into argument unless you identify the person. So, but when you go into an argument, remember you can argue, but you have to justify and show, sir, let me clear this. I'm not arguing you, but I have to tell you this. You smile the person and explain him to show that you are not arguing with him, but you are explaining him the real scenario. You are 100% correct. You are 100% true. What you say is true, but let me clarify you further. I have a point. I think you might be okay with it. So let me clarify. And then you point all your ammunitions here and make sure if you don't have ammunitions, again, not to talk to the client and listen to the client carefully and ask him, sir, I don't have an answer for this. I do understand your situation. I don't have an answer for this. Let me talk to my team. Let me talk to my superior, and definitely I will get back to you with a proper solution. But if you don't have weapons, if you start arguing, summa, you will lose everything. So it's actually a negotiation techniques. Okay. So where you have to be so calm and quiet. Mama උදාහරණයක් විදිහට කිව්වොත් මම ඉස්සරහා එක client කෙනෙක් එක company එකක ඇවිල්ලා යාගේ product එක පොලේ ගැහුවා. Okay. මේ incident එක වෙන්නේ 2004 පහේ කාලේ. Right. මම ඉස්සරහා client කෙනෙක් item එක පොලේ ගැහුවා. product එක up to the standard වැඩ කරේ නැහැයි කියලා සහ service එක හරියට දුන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. Entire showroom where I was a client for that particular showroom, it was in 2004 or 5. I was a client. මම ඒ වෙලාවේ customer කෙනෙක් විදිහට ඒ showroom එකේ product එක ගන්න ගියේ. So he was blasting the fellows who were there in the cashier, and I was looking at a one person over there, and this guy came in front, and I nodded him saying that not to argue. මම යාට කිව්වා මෙහෙම ඔළුවෙන් මං කිව්වා argue කරන්න යන්න එපා. Just keep quiet කියලා. So he supposed to be a manager, and he was quietly listening to the client, and client was basically firing all the ammunitions. Tiana bullets ඔක්කොම use කරලා ඉවරලා ඉන්න වැඩ කරන sales කට්ටියටයි clients ලටත් කියනවා මුන්ගෙන් බඩු ගන්න එපා මුන් මෙහෙමයි අරකයි මේකයි කියලා කියනවා. But the manager, supposed to be a manager, and he was calm and quiet listening to the client. It was about good 10-15 minutes client was firing. Good 10-15 minutes client was firing. And after that, client was fed up out. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි client cool down කරේ, sir, I do understand the situation. Let's go inside and talk. Right? So ඇතුළට ගිහිල්ලා කතා කරන එකටත් arrogant උන client. ඊට පස්සේ මොකද කොහොම හරි this person managed to take him inside and talk. Right? So it was a known place. So I cleared the situation. Cleared in the sense I was asking what has really happened over there. So mismanagement. So in case the sales manager start arguing, or I think the showroom manager start arguing, situation would have been worse. Situation would have been worse. So by the time other sales people were managing, he was managing the upset client. So it was a challenging thing. So depending on the person, depending on problematic customer types, satisfied customer types, clear? Pradeep, your noise comes. Yeah, Pradeep, you have any questions? Your noise comes. 824. Yeah. Galage, are you clear with the question answer? We'll be anyway doing the negotiation techniques. But there are certain situations where you have to argue. I'm not saying no. I have argued enough and more. Right? Sometimes the debt collection, you will have to argue. You will have to argue. You have to argue and justify. Right? You have to show the reality. Right? Debt collection, especially. Arguments are coming in certain ways. Sometimes the situation where client really try to put faults into the company. Which is not real, which is not basically realistic rather. So you can argue. But remember, argument does not mean raising the voice. Firing using whatever the right ammunitions, right? T56 වෙඩි තියන්න ඕන එක්කෙනාට මෝටාර එකක් ගහලා හරියන්නේ නැහැ. Remember that මම මේ වචන use කරන්නේ මෙන්න මේක තමයි ප්‍රශ්න වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ වචන T56 වෙඩි තියන්න ඕන එකක් shotgun එකකින් තියන්න ඕන එක්කෙනාට මෝටාර එකක් ගැහුවොත් situation becomes worse. You need to identify the right ammunitions and fire. Okay, are you clear, Galage? Okay, let's move forward with this. Galage, are you clear? Okay, right. Okay, another theory. අපි මේ loyalty එකත් එක්ක බලන්නේ customer lifetime value එක වැඩි කරගන්න. Our intention is to increase something called this with the loyalty. Loyalty එකත් එක්ක අපි try කරනවා to increase CLV, something called customer lifetime value. It's a calculation, right? It's a calculation. So, but what do you mean by the customer lifetime value? මොකක්ද මේ customer lifetime value කියලා කියන්නේ? Layman language again, customer අපිත් එක්ක කොච්චර කල් ඉන්නවද, ඒ ඉන්න කාලය ඇතුළත customer අපිට කොච්චර revenue එකක් දෙනවද, that is the lifetime value of the customer. You can forecast the lifetime value of the customer. You can analyze the historical lifetime value of the customer. You can use it as a strategic tool to design whatever the strategy is for future with that particular customer. Now let's say as example, customer lifetime value එක කියලා කියන්නේ as I said, the amount of revenue and the profit generated from that particular customer over a period of his lifetime. දැන් අපි හිතමු උදාහරණයක් විදියට Gillette shaving cream. අත දරුවන්ට දෙන්නේ නැහනේ. right? Okay, අපි හිතමු දැලි රැවුල එන කාලේ ඉඳලා අපි හිතමු අවුරුදු 14 ඉඳලා වගේ right රැවුල කපන්න පටන් ගන්න ඕන. පළවෙනි right කිරිබත් ටිකක් උයලා Gillette shaving cream එකක් අරන් ඇවිල්ලා ඔන්න රැවුල කපන්න පටන් ගන්න. right? Okay, then the first time. දැන් ඒ කාලේ රැවුල වැවෙන්නේ නැහැ අවුරුදු 12 14 කියන ලොකුවට වැවෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් හරි ලොකු සිද්ධියක් කොල්ලොන්ට ඒ දවස්වල තියෙන ඉතින් මෙහෙම චූට්ටක් එනකොට right? Okay, so ඉතින් ඔන්න ඒ කාලේ මොකක්ද averagely මුළු මාස 6ටම එක shaving cream bottle එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. කාලයත් එක්ක then you identified, then you become mature adult, then you identified averagely you use about 3 containers a month. Okay, so per container let's say 1,000 rupees, and 3 containers a month, in the sense 3,000 rupees, and per year 3 into 12, 36 containers. And you talk about, let's say now you are 20s and up to 60s, up to the age of 60 you're consuming this product. Up to the age of 60, in the sense 20 to 60, in the sense 40 years you are consuming this product. Per year you are consuming 36 bottles, 36 containers, and 40 years you can consume, I mean into multiplied by 40 containers, which means 36 multiplied by 40 containers. So that is the amount you're consuming. So that is the lifetime value for that particular company received from you. Revenue received from you. So it is a calculation. So I will show you the calculation anyway, right? So our intention of converting a loyal customer is to increase this, my dear friends. මෙන්න මේ loyal customers ලා ඉන්න මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ? right? අපේ lifetime value එක, customer ගේ lifetime value එක වැඩි වෙනවා loyalty එක build කරන්න. ඒක තමයි අපේ intention එක තියෙන්නේ. So generally we identified majorities into එක ඕනම product එක bell shape curve එක අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම, right, we see profitable customer segment is very high and low profitable customers also they are like that. High profitable customers also there. Make analysis එකක් අපි කරන්න පුළුවන් customer base එකේ අරගෙන අපිට බලන්න පුළුවන්. Then you can prepare a bell shape curve. සමහරවිට bell shape curve එක මේ පැත්තට ඇදිලා මෙහෙම එන්න පුළුවන්. සමහරවිට bell shape curve එක මෙහෙම ඇදිලා මේ පැත්තට වැඩිපුර යන්න පුළුවන්. So whatever the way you can identify the patterns of the customer. But you being a salesperson should have the idea about the CLV, customer lifetime value. කොච්චරද? ඇයි මම එහෙම කියන්නේ? Then you can design your strategy. Now let's say as example, you want to give a fridge to the pharmacy guy, right? So you identify the revenue you generated from this particular customer over this year, this much. If we keep the customer, the potential revenue that might generate from that particular customer, this much. So can I allocate a portion to give a display rack or a refrigerator for that particular customer? So with these figures, you can justify the management and say, look here, my potential revenue expectation from this particular customer, this is the lifetime value of this particular customer. So can't I allocate a portion to keep that customer. So you have figures to talk. අපේ sales කරන කට්ටියගේ ප්‍රශ්න වෙලා තියෙන්නේ ගිහිල්ලා දේවල් කියනවා gut feelings වලින්. කවදාවත් management එකට gut feelings වලින් දේවල් කියන්න බෑ. මට කවුරු හරි ඇවිල්ලා කිව්වොත් එහෙම මේක මෙහෙම කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා මම අහනවා කරන විදිය මට පෙන්නන්න. මොකද්ද return numbers මට පෙන්නන්න කියලා කියනවා. ඒතර ඒක පෙන්නන්න බැරි වුණොත් බයිලා. ඕක තමයි reality එක sales. ඒක පෙන්නන්න බෑ. So salesman කෙනෙක් විදියට හැමතිස්සෙම මතක තියාගන්න you have to talk with figures. You have to come up with the calculations. එතකොට කාටවත් බැහැයි කියන්න බෑනේ. prove කරන්න මේක prove කරලා තියෙනවා නම් mathematically මේක prove කරලා තියෙනවා නම් statistically මේක justify කරලා තියෙනවා නම් right මේක මේ විදියට යන්නේ කියලා historically මේක prove කරලා තියෙනවා නම් so it is very much easy for you all to gain things. සමහර වෙලාවට ඒ කියන්නේ when we talk for certain companies සමහර වෙලාවට salesman ලා අපිට අරක දුන්නා නම් අපිට මෙච්චරක් කරන්න පුළුවන් මේක දුන්නා නම් මෙච්චරක් කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. So what we do we sometimes ask the management to go ahead and give knowing that this person doesn't do. So and we when we give them we get an agreement saying that okay if you don't give the return we will be taking it back in whatever the way. So this is the reality. So when you have statistics, when you have numbers with you, so you can prove that and you can gain things. With the forecasted statistics and the numbers are wrong, even sometimes the external market environmental changes might impact your forecast. Perfectly okay, right? So those are justifiable things. මේ හැමතිස්සෙම මතක තියාගන්න client analysis කරනකොට ඒ numbers එක්ක යන්න ලෑස්ති වෙන්න numbers එක ගෙනියන්න. So let me take you on the calculation, the CLV calculation over here. So customer lifetime value calculation එක. අපි lifetime value එක කියලා කියන්නේ average usage එක multiplied by number of transactions and the number of period. අර මම කිව්වේ average usage එක Gillette shaving cream containers 3ක් average. එතකොට මාසෙට 3යි එහෙනම් අවුරුද්දට කියලා කියන number of transactions අවුරුද්දට 3 12යි. එහෙනම් කොච්චර period එකක්ද? අවුරුදු 40ක්. එහෙනම් 3 වැඩි කිරීම 12 වැඩි කිරීම 40. අපිට එනවා lifetime value of that particular customer. So CLV එක අපි කතා කරන්නේ mainly the profit part margin එකත් එක්ක. එතකොට මේ lifetime value එක ඇතුලේ අපේ margin එක කොච්චරද? Let's say with 30% margin we are talking about. So you calculate the profitability of that particular customer. එතකොට ඔයාලට තියෙනවා නම් අවුරුදු 10කින් අපේ එක organization එකට ගන්න පුළුවන් profit එක මේ customer ගෙන් then you can convert that into a present value calculation. Present value එකට අරගන්න පුළුවන්. අරගෙන ඉවරලා you can pass the benefit to the client. Right? So present value calculations ඒව මේ ඔක්කොම අපේ mathematical side එකේදී අපි කතා කරනවා don't worry. So these are basic calculations. So මෙන්න මේක තමයි customer lifetime value එක කියලා කියන්නේ. Questions එන්න පුළුවන් එනවා අනිවාර්යෙන් එනවා. CLV එක base කරගෙන questions මේක සහ formula එක base කරගෙන අනිවාර්යෙන් questions එනවා. So any questions CLV customer lifetime value. Any questions? අනිවාර්ය question එකක් එනවා CLV එක base කරගෙන. Anyone is having any questions? මේ අපි ඉගෙන ගන්න ඔක්කොම theories concepts Anyone is having any questions?
Hello, sir.
Yes, go ahead. Who is this? Nama kiyala katha karanna.
My name is Shiham.
Yes, Shiham, go ahead.
My question is, do we have these slides on LMS or any other anywhere else? Because the module you sent in WhatsApp, some of the slides are missing.
Okay, in LMS, all the details are there anyway. The LMS access, actually, we have uploaded your details into LMS and the login creation is the concern. I'm in the LMS right now. So we have to categorize you into a different group because you all are batch number 3 now. So I mean, it takes a little bit of time, right? Hopefully by next week, you will be able to get the LMS login. It is available in LMS, don't worry.
All right, thank you.
Available LMS
Thank you.
No worries. So any more questions? Any more questions, guys? Anyone is having any questions? Anyone is having any questions? Anyone is having any questions? So anyone, any questions, any more questions? Okay, seems not. Now it's 3:25. Right. So we'll take a break at 3:45. 3:45 වලට break එකක් ගමු. Okay. So now we are connecting marketing management process along with the sales management concepts, right? Sales management thing. Then I'm taking you all into one of the model in marketing management. Okay, here's one of the model in marketing management. So I'm taking you there. Now this is the latest process. We discussed the strategic marketing management in Philip Kotler's management textbooks, the marketing management textbooks. Then මේ process එක ඇතුලේ අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම sales manager ගේ role එක මොකක්ද? කොතනද අපිට connect කරන්න පුළුවන්? Look at this process first of all. බලන්න මේ process එක පොඩ්ඩක්. Carefully study. Carefully study. මේ process එක නිකන් කියවන්න. දැන් මේමයි පේන ක්ලාස් එක නම් මම දන්නවා කියවනවද නැද්ද කියලා බලන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් පොඩි උන් නෙමෙයිනේ නේ. එහෙනම් if we ask you all to do something, I mean you all have to do. නැත්නම් you all will have to penalize at the exam. Right. Look at this. Okay, now this is the marketing management process. Marketing management process. Balanna, now when you look at the first step of the marketing management process, step-by-step approach, no? Right? Now understand the marketplace and the customer needs and wants. What is the salesperson's job role there? Okay, can we ask from Anjana 405? Anjana. 405. Anjana. You'll have to talk, huh?
Yep.
Yes, Anjana. Tell me, okay, where are you working, by the way?
So now I'm studying, sir. I'm studying at Open University, sir.
What do you study there?
Management, sir.
Okay, management is a broad subject. Engineering management, information management, marketing management, business management, right? It's a broad subject. What business management? Right?
Marketing management, sir.
Okay, marketing management. Then you have an idea. Okay, marketing management. Very good. Which year you are into?
Final year, sir.
Super. So, මම මේක අයින් කරොත් ඔයාලට කියන්න පුළුවන්ද මේ process එක? ඈ? පුළුවන්ද? බලන්න. කමන්නේ. It's usual, right? මේක පාට මතකෙ ඉන්නේ නැති වෙයි. Okay, Anjana, now tell me, you can see the screen now. Tell me now the first part of the marketing management process. Understand the marketplace and customer needs and wants. Methanta salesman connect වෙන්නේ කොයි විදියටද? What is the role of a sales manager or a salesperson to comply this?
Salesperson තමයි කියන්නේ සාමාන්‍ය ground level එකකින් ඉන්න පුද්ගලයා. එතකොට එයා තමයි දන්නේ customers ලගේ මොනවද ඒගොල්ලෝ කොහොමද මේ behavior කොහොමද ඊට පස්සේ hello?
Yes, can you hear?
කියන්නේ කස්ටමර්ස්ලා මොනවද ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අවශ්‍යතාව මොනවද ඒගොල්ලන් කාලෙන් කාලට ඔයගොල්ලන් කොහොමද මිලදී ගැනීමේ මිලදී ගන්න ආකාරය පිළිබඳ මේ අයිඩියා තියෙන්නේ සේල්ස් පර්සන්ට. එතකොට ඒ පුද්ගලයාගෙන් තමයි ඊට පස්සේ මාකටිං මැනේජර්ට එයා කොමියුනිකේට් කරන්න ඕනේ කස්ටමර්ස්ලාගේ කොහොමද ඒගොල්ලෝ අවශ්‍ය දේ මොනවද ඉල්ලන්නේ කියලා බලලා ඊට පස්සේ අපි ඒකට අදාළ දේවල් අපි නිෂ්පාදනය කරන්න ඕනේ.
Very good. Now see, very good. Thank you very much, Angela. Right?
Thank you, sir.
Now see, salesperson is the person who is directly connecting with the client. Na? Salesperson තමයි customer ගැන දන්නේ. හොඳටම දන්නේ. Right? එයාට හොඳටම කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Salesperson තමයි හොඳටම කරන්න පුළුවන් දෙයක් තියෙන්නේ. Right? එතකොට දැන් customer ගැන දැන් මෙතන කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? marketing වල first step එක understanding the marketplace and the customer needs. Marketplace එක කියලා කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? අපි මේ operate වෙන macro economic micro economic environmental perspectives ගැන කවුද දන්නේ? Customer ගැන කවුද දන්නේ? Salesperson. Why? He's the one who is connecting. It can be a B2B client, it can be a B2C client, right? So whatever the way, who knows about the client much better? The salesperson. If you really want to know, the retail salesperson is the best source of supply of information to the manufacturer. Best retailer. I mean, the retailer is the best source of supply about the consumer behavior, the customer behavior, the market behavior, the need changes, trend patterns, backwards to the manufacturer. So salesperson combine their connect, their comply, their operation by providing these things. Look at the second one, designing the customer-driven marketing strategy that you can do by identifying only. So who knows what type of a strategy successful to the customer point? Now let's say the retail marketing operation or the modern trade operation as an example, right? Now when you look at them, so if you are handling particular set of modern trade supermarkets, you know how you can manage your merchandising and displays over there. You know what type of a promotion we should run in Cargill's, Apico, Kiehl's, I mean, let's say the Glowmark Spa. You know if you are handling them because you are the person who is interacting with them. You are the person who is in the flow level and talk and see and experience the client behavior over there. So, I mean, you can input your strategy, your ideas to design your strategy. Design the strategy for the sales management and the marketing management. Now look at this, the third point. Third point. Construct integrated marketing activities, integrated marketing program, integrated කියන වචනේ. Can someone tell me what is integrated? Okay, let's get Nilanta 706. Nilanta, මොකද්ද මේ integrated marketing කියලා කියන්නේ? Nilanta 706. Nilanta 706.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Nilanta, මොකද්ද මේ integrated marketing? මොකද්ද මේ තුන්වෙනි part එකෙන් කියන්නේ? මොකද්ද සහ කොහොමද salesman අපිට මෙතනට salesman ගේ role එක අපි කොහොමද ගේන්නේ?
Sir, yes, then we can make a strategy with the together. එකතු වෙලා අපිට strategy එකක් හදන්න පුළුවන් sir. මේ values deliver කරන්න strategy එකක් අපිට එකතු වෙලා හදන්න පුළුවන් sir market එකේදී salesman ගේ තියෙන ideas එක්ක.
Okay, Nilanta, where are you working by the way?
I am working at Convenient Foods Lanka PLC, sir.
Convenient
CPL.
Foods. Okay, CPL. Good. So it's like this now. Thank you, Nilanta.
Yes, sir.
See, construct integrated marketing, which means you can't run isolatedly. It's a combined effort. It's a combined effort. Integrated marketing activities කියලා කිව්වම මෙතන තියෙන marketing activities ඔක්කොංගෙම එකතුවකින් හරි programs හරි marketing strategies design කරගෙන යන්න එක තමයි අපි integrated marketing activities කියලා කියන්නේ. Good, Nilanta. So, and we can do that if we identify our target market properly and design the strategy related to them. Otherwise, what will happen? You will do a program without identifying their requirements, without having a proper strategy to match them, but they will not basically, expect that type of a strategy from your side. So make a වෙන්නත් අපි මේ design කරපු strategy එකට match වෙන විදිහට තමයි programs integrated marketing programs අපි implement කරගෙන යන්න ඕනේ. අපි TV එකේ එක campaign එකක් run කරලා radio එකේ තව campaign එකක් run කරලා සිල්ලර කඩේ ගියාම වෙන campaign එකක් design වෙනවා නම් so integrated marketing campaign, integrated communication campaign run වෙන්නේ නැහැ. So sales person might get confused. TV එකේ එකක් යනවා, supermarket එකේ එකක් තියෙනවා, retail shop එකේ තව එකක් තියෙනවා. Sales person might get confused. So you have to have combined effort. Then the fourth step, when you look at build profitable relationship. Profitable. I mean, we were talking about this, building profitable relationship. Because who knows how to build the profitable relationship and who is building the profitable relationship is the salesperson. Not the person inside the organization, in the sense, not the person who is not doing sales. So the person who is doing the sales only building the profitable relationship with the customer. So you are playing a role over there. And when you really look at the entire marketing management process, my dear friends, when the main steps hatarama, what we do internally to capture something from external environment. What we do internally, me hatarama api gattotema activities what we do internally to capture values from the external market. In the sense, me consumer ගේ wallet value එක capture කරන්න තමයි අපි මේ ඔක්කොම ටික කරන්නේ. So capture the value from the customer in return, right? So that is what we really get finally by doing all these activities targeting the customer. So marketing management process එක අපිට isolate කරන්න බෑ sales management process එක. Right? එතකොට මේක මෙතන ඔගොල්ලෝ ඉන්නවා sales management කරන කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා. So you can see how you are connected each other. So any questions? Another theory, another process which can be questioned, Anyone is having any questions? Any questions? Yes. What we were talking about so far. මේ මෙතන අපි මේක කතා කරා create value from the customer and build a relationship. කවුද කරන්නේ salesman? So anyone is having any questions? Another theory model, other theory දැනට මම හිතන්නේ 4ක් විතර කරා, right? So anyone is having any questions? Can you explain this process with an example? Okay, right. So let's look at, okay, now you are planning to Jerome, you are from which industry you said? It's easy then.
I'm from construction industry.
Okay, construction industry. Now let's say, are you working for a construction company or your own company?
No. I'm working for a company. We are actually interior finishers.
Okay, super. Now let's say as example, okay, interior finishes. I will take that. Now the apartment industries now again start picking, right? After the pandemic, now slowly, it start moving up now. So you understand the new way of interior requirements, okay? You understand, because now, not like the pre-pandemic, I mean, even the interior operation in interior management in and the facility management in corporate sector, more concerned about the health and safety, right? So, and you understand the market expectation. You know, right? You know, I mean, like this is how the interior designing industry is changing slowly, right? I mean, when you are managing, let's say, the cafeteria area, when you manage the office furniture, when you manage the seating arrangement, what conditions you need to maintain and all this. When you manage the office entrance, how does it need to manage, and all these things you talk about. So you get an idea about the client real requirements right now. It is changing, not like the previous. This, right? So now what do you do? Even the seating arrangement, let's say the lobby එකේ වෙනදා තියෙන seats 5යි නම් දැන් ඒක seats 2කට අඩු වෙනවා වෙන්න පුළුවන්, as an example, right? You get an idea. You identify the customer's real requirement here. Then what do you do? Okay, if that is the case, right? If that is the case, what should be my strategy to approach those type of customers? Now the cost benefit we need to pass. We need අපිට building පළල කරන්න බෑ. නමුත් අපිට solution, අපිට strategy එකක් තියෙනනේ building ඒ size building එකෙන් අපිට උපරිම ප්‍රයෝජනය ගන්න මේ තියෙන condition එකත් එක්ක, තියෙන covid regulations එක්ක, තියෙන health guidelines එක්ක, health and safety guidelines එක්ක. So you need to make sure that, You need to make sure. So you look at a strategy. Now, sometimes, okay, larger sofa interior decoration might go into a smaller type chair arrangement, but make it elegant, make it comfortable. Sometimes, let's say as example, the light fittings may be where you were arranging in a different way previously. Now you are arranging in a different way. So you look at the strategy, what you can change to match the need, which has already changed. So based on that, you conduct smaller programs. Now, previously you were making a massive awareness campaign. Now you identified no point of going ahead with a massive campaign. So what should I do? I should contact architects. I should have one-to-one touch with architects, and through architects, I should connect the final clients. Or else I was dealing with another partner to, let's say as example, connect the corporate clients, but it's better to go ahead directly with the client. So you design your smaller programs. Previously you were importing. Now you identified you have regulation issues, import control issues. So you can't import. Now the light fittings you can't import. You can't import the cabling. You can't import the interior materials. You can't import sometimes. So you need to find a local supply. You design your programs to reach them. Sometimes now previously you were playing isolate game. Right now you take combined approach since you can't import. Now previously you were not taking your suppliers to the client discussion, but now you are taking your suppliers even to the client discussion because your suppliers are now local, not the international suppliers. You design your programs over there. So what do? You slowly build the relationship with the client, right? Much better way by giving a profitable, let's say as example, much nicer interior arrangement for them more than earlier, right? So then you get the confirmation from the customer and make sure that you're maintaining that relationship and get the values towards the business. So it is there for any business. It can be retail, it can be construction, it can be apartment building, it can be office furniture, it can be IT, it can be service. You name whatever, you can connect the dots and bring the connectivity of entire process. Right. I was just summarizing, Jerome, but if the person who is into industry can explain it further. Are you clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions? Anyone is having any other questions? මේක එන්න පුළුවන් සමහරලාට මේ process එක හරි order එකට හදන්න එන්න පුළුවන්. මේ process එකේ හිස්තැන් පුරවන්න එන්න පුළුවන්. මේ process එකේ let's say සමහරලාට මුළු process එකම match කරන්න එන්න පුළුවන්. එකෙක් විදිහට එන්න පුළුවන්. Questions. Anyone is having any questions? Okay, so it's 3:42. So let's take a break and we'll meet up at 4 o'clock. So don't leave, stay. Then it is easy that I log out and log in when I get them my concern way. So we'll discuss few more modules there, right? Theory modules keep for us to discuss. So we'll discuss after the break, right? Okay, guys, we'll take a quick break of 15 to 20 minutes and we'll meet up. Okay, good thumbs up. Okay, or I can do it.
Yes, sir.
So we'll take a break.
calling for what?
Okay, guys, we are back. Right. Okay. Let's restart. Okay. Right. Now, okay, we are moving into another model. Okay. Model is selling through right relationship. So we were talking about the relationship marketing is so important. Relationship selling is so important in business. So this model is talking about how you all can build and maintain the relationship with your target market and those who are already in with you all. So this model, when we look at this model, guys, actually, okay, before that, are we in? Are we in? Can we get a raise hand? Can we get a quick raise hand from everyone? Okay. Okay, right. Okay, thank you guys. So let's make it. Now this model is talking about, as I said earlier, this model is talking about how are we going to sell keeping the relationship and how, oops, sorry, how we simply manage our existing customer base along with our whatever the future strategies we are taking. Now, this is a model which we are evaluating our clients by looking at two dimensions. First one is the profitability and the other one is the projected loyalty, right? අපි customers ලාව categorize කරනවා areas 4කට by looking at the profitability from that particular customer and by looking at the projected loyalty from that particular customer. එතකොට by looking at the profitability, we identify some customers are highly profitable for our business. Some customers are, I mean, either moderately or low profitable. By looking at the projected loyalty, right? Some customers are long-term customers with our organization. Long-term customers. Some customers are very short-term. They just come and buy and disappear. Right. So by looking at these two parameters, the profitability and the projected loyalty, we are categorizing customers into 4 areas. We are categorizing customers into 4 areas and then design strategies depending on the quadrants that they are into. Now look at this. Now in your company, if you really look at, sometimes you might have some customers, those who are highly profitable, but they are not long-term. Especially we see this in the B2B nature. I mean, this model is very strongly practiced in B2B nature, business to business sales management nature. So profitability, right? Some are customers are highly profitable, but they don't do continuous business. Maybe one time, once a year only. Maybe, I mean, like if your product is having a value addition where they just buy only that particular moment. Okay, one time. So short term, loyalty is short term. They just come for some benefits, but highly profitable customers, highly profitable customers. Then we identified as butterflies in business. You can ඒගොල්ලෝ එනවා, right? Profit එකක් දෙනවා, move වෙනවා. Profit එකක් දෙනවා, move වෙනවා. Right? තැනින් තැනට move වෙනවා. So then we identified as butterflies. නම් ටික පස්සේ මතක තියාගන්න. නම් නෙමෙයි මේකේ concept එක ඔලුවට ගන්න. We have certain set of customers, profitability එක අතින් low, but long term. They stay long term with the business. Now you look at, okay, do I have such customers? Profitability එක low, but කාලයක් අපිත් එක්ක ඉන්න customer. These two look at. එක්කෙනෙක් highly profitable but short term. අනිත් එක්කෙනා highly loyal but low profitable. Our organization mainly looks for these set. Highly profitable, highly long-term customers. Your loyalty strategy in sales management, your loyalty approach should be able to increase highly profitable, highly loyal customers to the business. You being a sales manager or salesperson, right, should be able to convert more of true friends for your business. More and more true friends of your business, right? Then only you can survive. Otherwise, you will not be able to survive. And there are certain set of customers, those who are very strangers. They don't even give much profit, and they are not even loyalty either. So we identify the customers in this nature. We identify customers in this nature. So you got to identify this pattern. Now, as an example, okay, so you look at depending on the industry you are into, you identify, do I have customers in this nature? Do I have customers in this nature? So, I mean, based on that, put them into the specific quadrants. Put them into the specific quadrants. Now, if you really look at, okay, okay, what are we really going to do with them, Kiyaneka? So we need to identify. Now, butterflies, let's say as an example, if we can convert them into true friends by doing whatever the strategy approach, okay, which is one of the good side because they are highly profitable. But we need to identify, okay, why they are short term. What is the reason, right? What is the reason? So they do one sale with you, but 99 sales with your competitor. But whatever the one sale they are giving is profitable. But why not this balance 99 comes for us? You got to have a proper screening and proper study about the customer to identify the reason for him or reason for that particular customer to become a butterfly and even the barnacle. So there can be, but the client is very loyal, but less profitable. So this loyal customer might keep you for granted, saying, okay, just to take advantage out of your side, but he might give business to your competitor. So you got to identify this. You got to identify this. Then only you can design your strategies to make him converted to a true friends. So this is a segment. The strangers are the segment. If it is not eating your fixed cost, if it is not giving additional fixed cost, or if it is not, additional cost in maintaining, right? So you can keep them. If you don't get additional cost in maintaining, you can keep them. But if you feel to maintain them, if you have to incur additional investment, the best thing is to drop them out from the business. But if you have, before dropping them, you have to make sure that you don't have, I mean, proper, what do you mean, your approach for them is not profitable or to convert to the long run or highly profit side. ඉතින් එහෙම investment එකක් කරන්න ඕනේ නැත්නම්, so you keep them. If not, you drop them. If you need to maintain, if you need to have investment to maintain them, you just drop them. So ගන්න ඕගොල්ලෝගේ database එක, especially the people those who are into the B2B, I'm repeating it again. So you can categorize your customers into that. Why I'm saying B2C, it is not that strong, because B2C, the number of clients are pretty large. Because when you look at the B2C, we'll talk about what is B2C anyway. Consumer market එකේ number of customers ලා වැඩි. එතකොට number of customers ලා වැඩි වෙනකොට අපිට if we don't have a proper CRM, customer relationship management approach, where you capture all these data, it is very difficult to categorize the client into the Okay, I got a signal issue. So, right, got a signal issue. Hope you all can hear me. So, but for B2B, yes, we can use this model without any issue. So any question in this model? This is another model which can be tested. Any model, sorry, this is another model which can be tested. Any question out of this? Customer categorization එකක් අපි මෙතන කරන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ customers ලව අපි categories කීපයකට කඩන්නේ based on the profitability and the loyalty. So එහෙම කඩලා අපි strategies design කරනවා to convert them into true friends or either to drop them. So any questions? Anyone is having any questions there? Right. Okay, cool. So this is again actually the B2B client. Let me quickly take you all there. I mean, you categorize the customer database by looking at the opportunities you get for transaction by looking at the type of relationship. දැන් මේකත් B2B ගොඩක් වෙලාවට අපි දකිනවා B2B කියලා කියන බිස්නස් එකකින් තවත් බිස්නස් එකකට එනකොට අපි ඇග්‍රීමන්ට් තියෙන කස්ටමර්ස්ලා ඉන්නවා. සමහර ක්ලයන්ට්ස්ලා ඇග්‍රීමන්ට්ස් තියෙන කස්ටමර්ස්ලා ඉන්නවා, කොන්ට්‍රැක්චුවල් ටර්ම්ස් තියෙන කස්ටමර්ස්ලා ඉන්නවා. සමහර ක්ලයන්ට්ස්ලා ඉන්නවා non contractual terms. So based on that we identify. There are certain customers, those who are non-contractual but continuously giving sales. We need to identify them. There are certain customers contractual and they are giving continuous sales also. Contractual කියලා කියන්නේ very unlikely they change the contract parties with them. Unless there's a huge deviation with the contractual terms and condition. So they very unlikely they remove the contractual party. So you are very much stronger there if you have clients in this nature. There can be clients, those who are contractual, but they don't give continuous business, right? Periodically tamai business there. So whatever the nature you might have. So based on these two conditions, the opportunity for transaction and the relationship type, whether it's a contractual or non-contractual. Then මෙතන අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම as I said earlier, මෙතන ගොඩක් වෙලාවට B2B buying වලදී එන්නේ not ගොඩක් වෙලාවට mainly the B2B buying, then again with the legal kind of an agreement we are talking about under this model. ඉතින් මේකත් බලලා අපිට this is another model which can be used to categorize our customer before designing our strategies, right? So these are the two models actually where you all need to know. මේකෙන් ලොකුවට ප්‍රශ්න එන්නේ නැහැ, but here you get questions. Anyone is having any questions? Anyone is having any questions? $695 Tulina. Tulina 695. Are you there? Tulina 695. Tulina, are you there? 695. Attendance ගන්න මේක ඇරලා තියලා බුදිය ගත්තට වැඩක් නැහැ. Right? Anyone is having any questions? Tulina, are you there or not? Okay, Tulinage 695 Senal attendance we have to remove. If he is not responding in the sense, we have to remove the day's attendance. Okay, 4C we'll look at. Vatsala. Yes.
So I'm Vajendra.
Yeah, Vajendra, go ahead. You have a question.
So how we can we align this to the concept of hunting and farming sales strategies? So if we can do this, if we can agile with that relationship with the farming concept.
Your question was not clear. It was breaking. Repeat it again.
That's a sales concept called hunting and farming.
Okay.
So it's that normally that relationship. So if we call farming, that we are getting sales from existing customer, right? So can we join with that bespoke concept for that also?
Okay, can someone repeat that question because you were breaking for me? Did anyone hear this question properly? Okay, hunting and farming is one of the concept what we are using. It's commonly used one. So I think you are trying to match the hunting and farming thing here along with this model, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's correct. Yes, sir. Correct, sir.
What is your question?
So that the hunting and farming concept also, I ask her that same thing like this.
Yeah, it's like this. The hunting in the sense you basically, anyway, you're talking about the prospecting and qualifying part is the hunting part. Okay, so prospecting and qualifying and the pre-approach part we identified as the hunting part of the entire sales operation. Okay, farming in the sense you are getting maximum out of the entire effort and taking the client into this level. It is a relationship part. Hunting, okay. So get the meaning of these two even. Guys, actually to remember certain things, you all don't have to remember things as theory models. Okay, so we being salespeople, what do? We do prospecting and qualifying and for what? And do pre-approach for what? Hunt our target market and the target audience, which means the prospect to find the potential clients. Then farming means what? So we have identified, we are nurturing them to get the maximum out of this. Actually, it is another word what we are using to come up with this. It is not actually a personal selling strategy. It is the approach. There are personal selling strategies like the consultative approach, the problem solving approach, and all these things. Hunting and farming is the approach what we are taking to build find the customer and build the customer. I think you wanted to know that it's actually more than a strategy, it's the approach. Is that the question you are asking?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Where are you working, by the way, Vajendra?
I'm from Mobitel.
Okay, Mobitel. Okay. So, anyway, you people are hunting certain, sometimes the clients, no, it's obvious. No? Sometimes let's say, okay, usually communications card. I'm just saying, okay. You hunt and identify the couple of grocery type retailers, those who can sell your business cards. Not the business cards, I mean to say, recharge cards. Right, so you hunt them and you grow with them. You are basically farming inside their business, and you initially give kind of a small number of prepaid cards, and they get basically interest. Okay, card there, rupial siya card there, I don't know. Rupial dekak margin එක තියෙනවා. මේ නිකන් දෙන card එකෙන් rupial dekak margin තියෙනවා. Okay. So like that, hunting and farming. So initially you identified and you basically nurture and build the client in that way. So it is actually the approach. But person selling strategies කියලා වෙනම අපි කතා කරනවා. Person selling strategies කියලා. So consultative approach, the problem solving approach, අර ඒ වගේ approaches කීපයක් තියෙනවා. So we'll be discussing that separately. Here. Yes, Tilni, what is the question? Tilini, you have any questions? Right, must be a mistake. Okay, now we are moving into, okay, this is your CLV. One. Now we are moving into business market and the consumer market. Okay. Here the business market and the consumer market. We are talking about behavior of consumer and the business market here. Sorry, this slide. Now we were talking about few things. Okay. Now we have customers, those who are coming from companies. Retail කඩයක් කිව්වත් company එකක්නේ, right? Okay. So we are having customers, those who are coming from companies, which means we being a company, we are selling to another company, business to business. So that market we identified as the business market, right? Corporate selling, tender business, selling to, sorry, modern trade and the general trade and the retail, whatever other SMMT, small and medium modern trade. So those are business. Those are business. You being a company, you being an organization, you are selling to another. Then you are talking about selling to a consumer, B2C, business to consumer. You being a company selling to a selling directly to a consumer. So how do we identify these two? By looking at the purpose behind buying and purpose behind consumption. Purpose behind buying and purpose behind consumption. If the purpose behind buying is, not having any revenue motive, or if the purpose behind consumption is for self-satisfaction or the satisfaction of the family, satisfaction of the peers, okay, so no revenue gain, revenue motives in it, that is a consumer buying. මම ලැප්ටොප් එකක් ගන්නවා නම් මගේ පාවිච්චියට එහෙම නැත්නම් මගේ පොඩි කට්ටියගේ පාවිච්චියට එතකොට that is for self satisfaction. ඒ ලැප්ටොප් එකම මම ගන්නවා නම් තව ඒ මොඩල් එකම කම්පැනි එකට පාවිච්චි කරන්න, we are using indirectly for business purpose. So it is, first one is the consumer buying, the second one is the business buying. Okay, so purpose of buying is self-satisfaction or the satisfaction of the family members or the peers. That type of buying and that type of customers we identified as consumer type customers. But purpose of buying is to make money out of it or revenue out of it or profit out of it directly or indirectly. That type of buying we identified as the business buying. Let's say as an example, the company is into trading business, buying and selling. They buy refrigerator and keep a margin and sell. Okay. They buy a refrigerator, keep a margin and sell. Trading business, buying and selling. So which means what? They talk about business to business buying. Purpose behind buying is to make money out of it directly. Now let's say as an example, the company is buying a refrigerator to keep the pharmaceutical drugs inside the office. They are using the product, but purpose behind buying is to make money indirectly out from this. And it goes, that purchase goes to the P&L of the business. That purchase goes to the P&L of the business. So that approach we identified as the B2B buying. And that particular type of customer we identified as the business customer. So මේ දෙක identify කරගන්න ඕනේ. Consumer type customer, business type customer කියන එක. මොකද consumer type customer කෙනෙක්ගේ buying process එක අපි ගත්තොත් it's very comfortable. And when we really look at, okay, what type of things that are influencing his or her buying decisions, those are somewhat comfortable. But business type of customer is not like that. Everything boils down finally to the profit of the business. So you got to identify that clearly. So ehinda business type of customer කෙනෙක්ගේ buying mechanism is bit of a complicated compared to the consumer type customer. Then there are two more products here, two more words here rather. One is the consumer and the other one is a customer. One is a consumer and the other one is a customer. Okay. Nilanta 7. Okay, we'll look at another one. Samira 801. Are you there? Samira 801. Samira 801. Yeah, Samira. Now you see. Now, Samira, where are you working, by the way? Samira? ඇහෙන්නේ? Stason's food. Hello, salesman කෙනෙක් කියලා කිව්වම හයියෙන් කතා කරන්න ඕනේ. Right? අපි වයසයි අපිට ඇහෙන්නේ. No, your line is not clear. Right, where are you now? Okay, why your line is breaking? Your line is not clear. Yeah, okay. Now, Samira, you'll have to prepare those things. Now, salesman කෙනෙක් කියලා කිව්වම දැන් අපිට ඉස්සරහට දැන් ගොඩාක් online තමයි ඕගොල්ලන්ට ගොඩක් දේවල් කරන්න වෙන්නේ. දැන් තවත් wave එකක් වැරදිලවත් ආවොත් එහෙම right විනාශයි. wave එකක් එන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. දැන් ගෙදරට වෙලාම ඉන්න වෙලා තියෙන්නේ මේ petrol diesel ගණන් ඉඳලා right. So, ඒ ඉඳලා remote tools හදා ගන්න වෙනවා. Guys, sales කරනවා නම් මම අර එදා පළවෙනි දවසේ කිව්වා වගේ දැන් මේ වෙනකොට trend එක වෙනස් වීගෙන යනවා. So some certain things you get to prepare yourself. Okay. Right. Samira, customer කියන්නේ කවුද? Consumer කියන්නේ කවුද? Idea. Samira? Yeah. Who is the customer? Who is the consumer with your understanding? I can't hear you, Pata. Must be okay. Maybe your sound is bit of a issue. Anyway, thank you, Samira. So we'll catch you up in next time, right? Thank you very much. We can't hear you properly. We can't hear you properly. So let's look at 804 Lashini. Lashini. Lashini, are you there? 804. 804 Lashini. Lashini, are you there? Lashini? We can't hear you. Are you there? Senal? Senal, I think, yeah, Lashini, we need to talk. Right. Lashini, what is the difference between the customer and the consumer, and how do you identify these two? You have to unmute and answer. Sales කරනවා කියලා කිව්වම බය වෙන්න බෑ. කට තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Texting හරියන්නේ නැහැ. Go. Lashini, what do you think? Senal, I think we will have to, if the response is not there, we will have to mark absent. Okay, so Melanie 811. Melanie?
Yes, sir.
Ah, okay, very good. Where are you working, by the way?
United Tractors.
United Tractors. Okay, right. You spoke previously, no?
Yes, sir.
You're with me. Okay, tell me you can see these two words, customer and the consumer.
Yeah, customer will be the final consumer or a business. But I think consumer is the person or something who use this product or something. Final consumer.
Okay, so can these two be same?
Yeah.
Example?
As a generator, sometimes a company will be used. It's a business, and some are purchasing generators for their personal use.
Okay, right. Thank you, Melanie. No, it's like this. immaterial to the type of buyer. It can be a consumer type or it can be a type of purchase, consumer type purchase or the business type purchase. Consumer is the person who is consuming the product finally. Customer is the person who enter into the transaction. Okay, enter into the exchange process. He's a customer. So these two can be same. Customer buy and he is consuming. Or these two may even not be same. Customer purchase, but someone else is consuming. You buy Ancopedia Pro for your kids to consume, as an example. So consumer is a kid, customer is the parent. Customers are the parents. So customer is the person who enter into the exchange process. Right? Consumer is the person who is using or consuming the product. Target market versus target audience. Another two words you got to identify. Another two words. Target market versus target audience. This we mostly use when it comes for communication part. Communication. Target market versus target audience. අපි ගොඩක් වෙලාවට use කරනවා communication වලදී. So what do you mean by that? අපි ගමු තව එක්කෙනෙක්ව. තේරෙන විදිහට. කමන්නේ නැහැ. වැරදුනට කමන්නේ නැහැ. We'll look at Erandi 608. Erandi 608. Erandi, are you there? Erandi, are you there? 608. Okay, Erandi absent. So 371 Iman Kasim. 371 Iman.
Hi, sir.
Iman, where are you working?
Hello. I'm Brandy.
Brandix. Okay. So, sorry?
No, sir.
Yeah. So,
Hello.
yeah, tell me now, target market and the target audience.
Target market. Target market as you can get as
With an example,
some certain.
Perfectly okay. Even with example, if you are perfectly okay.
Yeah. We can get as target a certain number of people.
Okay.
And the I have no idea, sir.
No, perfectly okay. Right now, see, target market is the market where we focus our product. ඒක තමයි අපේ consumer base එක වෙන්නේ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට. අපේ product එක use කරන දැන් Ancopedia Pro එකේ target market එක තමයි kids කියලා කියන්නේ. Okay? හැබැයි අපේ customer base එක තමයි අපේ target audience එක වෙන්නේ communication message එකට. අපි කිට්ට communicate කරන්නේ නැහනේ. මම layman example එකක් ගන්න තේරුම් කරන්න ඕනේ. Right? අපි communicate කරන්නේ customer එක්ක. මොකද එයා තමයි enter වෙන්නේ transaction එකට. එයා තමයි communication වලදී අපි target audience කියලා identify කරගන්නේ. Target market කියලා කියන්නේ අපේ product එකේ real users ලා කවුද කියන එක. So then we identified as the target market. Okay. Okay, these couple of words sometimes you might get confusing when you do. So consumer versus business market, consumer versus customer, consumer versus target market versus target audience. Some are common words that are used in the industry. So you all should have an idea, right? Now let's look at the B2B and B2C, how these two are working, the B2B and the B2C. Now, we were talking about the B2B in the sense, okay, you are selling to another company. Business sells to another company. B2C is what? Business sells to consumers. Now, there are certain things we identified when it comes for B2B, how it works. When it comes for B2C, how it works, we can identify in this pattern. Now, when you look at the B2B, right? So, companies selling product purchase කරනකොට, right? එතකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් volumes තමයි purchase කරන්නේ. Then ගෙදරට අපි බඩු ගේනකොට අපි volumes ගේන්නේ, but for a company they purchase volumes. We can see the volume differences there. Okay, we can see the volume differences. So I mean, when they are selecting the product, they always look for fit for purpose කියන එක, and they always look for the return on investment කියන එක. Okay, fit for purpose and return on investment කියන එක. එතකොට දැන් අපි සමහර වෙලාවට laptop එකක් ගන්නකොට තියෙන උපරිම features දාලා අපි අරගන්න පුළුවන්. පාවිච්චි කරත් නැතත් I mean to say this is the reality no. But company එකක් product එකක් ගන්නවා නම් ඒගොල්ලන් බලලා යා මෙයා he is into sales, he needs only the PowerPoint and the Word Excel and to send email. He doesn't need this multimedia facility, so cut down everything and just buy the basic. Okay, just buy the basic. Why? Finally it goes into the P&L and affect the revenue and the profitability of the business. But for self-satisfaction, the person who is buying for self-satisfaction. සමහරවිට use කරන්නේ නැතිනොට ඒ feature එක තියෙනවා ඒ. ගන්න. පස්සේ කාලෙක use වෙයි කියලා. So things are there. So extensive analysis we take when it comes for B2B buying, whereas very less analysis we do when it comes for B2C buying, consumer purchase එකකදී අපි අරගන්න approach එක ගත්තොත්. So B2B and B2C we need to have an idea. So I'm not going to go through each and every point, so you can go through them. So let me take you all on the factors that can influence the B2C customers and the B2B customers. Then අපි product එකක් consumer කෙනෙක් product එකක් purchase කරන්න යනකොට what are the factors they might get? What are the factors might influence කියන එක we need to look at. Okay, now look at this. When you buy, if you're talking about a consumer buying, you identify some cultural factors are influencing the buying decision. Food habits, fashion, let's say as example, right? Commonly we see the cultural influences in buying, okay, the product. Social influences are there. Buying decision ekata social influences are there. Social influences in the sense, okay, the network and the friends and the family, right? They influence the buying decision. If you are a member of a particular club, they will the pattern of that particular club will influence the buying decision. Okay, so if you are a member of let's say the golf club and you identify the members, those who are in golf club, right? So in a particular nature, so you need to basically adapt yourself into that particular environment, right? That particular culture, so that particular social elements, society, social movement. So you buying your decisions, you take your buying decision based on that. If it is something connected to that. And your personal factors like your age, your gender, occupation, education level, and your income, right? ඒ වගේ දේවල් බලපානවා. So your buying decision. And finally the psychological factors, your thinking pattern, your motivation, how motivated you are to on certain thing, take the buying decision, right? Knowledge you have, the learnings you have, beliefs and attitude you have, certain beliefs, if you are believing on certain things, you go ahead and purchase. So when you look at a consumer, right, buying, we identified majorly 4 factors that are influencing consumer buying decisions, namely culture, social factors, personal factors, and the psychological factors. Under that, you have a number of other sub factors, but you got to identify. Generally, we identify these few factors are influencing the buying decision of themselves. පැහැදිලිද? පැහැදිලිද? Any question there? Anyone is having any question there? Anyone is having any questions there? Anyone is having any questions there? Right. So let's look at the consumer buying process. There's another model, right? Adhitika? Yes, someone wants to ask any question.
Excuse me, sir. I have a question. My name is Ashin.
Yeah, Ashin.
So now there's something called consumer behavior subject. No.
Yeah.
They are you can consider the customer and the consumer both there, right?
It's like this, Ashin. Now, consumer behavior is basically the general approach in common term we are using. So the consumer can be the customer. You buy something for your consumption. So you're the customer, you're the consumer, right? So consumer behavior in the sense your user behavior, right? That influence finally for buying decision. Now, let's say as example, the kids are consumers and they are influencing parents to buy certain things and they are behaving based on that. Okay, so this also connected there. Clear, Ned?
Yes, clear. Oh.
Good. Any more questions? Anyone is having any more questions? Anyone is having any more questions? Okay, right. Now, when you look at this is actually a psychological process, my dear friends. Okay, make a hitala karana deyak neme. Make hitala karana deyak වුණොත් එහෙම marketing sales management කරන කට්ටියට විතරයි make purchase decision එකට යන්න වෙන්නේ. No, it is a psychological one. Okay, it's a psychological thing which is happening automatically, right? When the consumer buying process always starts with the need recognition. අවශ්‍යතාවයක් අඳුරා ගැනීමෙන් තමයි buying process එක පටන් ගන්න. Problem recognition or the need recognition. When it comes for B2B, we identify that as a problem recognition because need is a problem until we fulfill that, right? Need is a problem until we fulfill the need. So that is why we identify that as a problem also. So need recognition, right? That is the first step in the consumer buying decision. So let's say as an example, you come up with some requirement. Okay, wedding එකකට යන්න තියෙනවා, right? එතකොට invitation එකක් හම්බ වෙනවා, wedding invitation එකක් හම්බ වෙනවා. So wedding invitation එකක් හම්බුනාම, so that the need identified, okay, we need to go for the wedding and we need to have a proper dress. Need identified to buy a dress, right? You know, so then automatically what happened, the consumer will start searching information, what type of a dress I should buy and from where I should buy and what is the money I should allocate for this, and all these things are started processing in the black box, right? The buying. අඩේ වෙඩින් එක හම්බුණා. මට යන්න තියෙන්නේ. මට මොකක්ද දැන් යන්නේ? මොකක්ද ගන්නෙ? මොකක්ද tag? So how things happening? It's process inside, right? Then search information, okay, from where I can buy this, what is the best price I can allocate it, and all these things. Start searching information. You don't purposely do it. You don't think and do it. It happens automatically. So that is why we call it as a psychological process, right? Now, let's say as an example, when you search information to buy a particular dress and you identified few options.
Excuse me, sir. Slides are moving.
Are you in
relationship?
Which slide you can see?
Butterfly strange and barnacles true friend slide model.
Oh my goodness, no. Can you all see the psychological process of buying behavior? Anyone?
Yes, yeah, we can.
Yes, we can, sir.
Yes, sir, we can see.
Okay, sir. I will check. I'm working at United Tractors.
Okay. ඔයාගේ පැත්තෙන් පොඩි අවුලක් තියෙනවා මේ දරුවෝ, ඒ කියන්නේ සිග්නල් ඉෂුව එකක් ඇත්තේ. බලන්න.
Sir, okay, sir, I will check.
It'll move. Signal drop ඇති. Right? We are in the slide number 29. Right. So, and you evaluate whatever the alternatives available. දැන් අපි විස්තර හොයනවා. දැන් මොකක්ද ගන්නෙ, මොන product එකද ගන්නෙ. දැන් අපිට අපි ඉස්සර options තියෙනවානේ. සමහර ඒවා ගණන් වැඩි, සමහර ඒවා ගණන් අඩුයි, සමහර ඒවා මොඩරේට්, සමහර ඒවා අපිට සයිස් නෑ, සමහර ඒවා අපේ ඩිසයින් එකට හරිය නෑ, සමහර ඒවා ඉවෙන්ට් එකට මැච් වෙන්නේ නෑ. So many things. When you are evaluating whatever the alternatives available in front of you to buying, you look at, okay, whether it is culturally matching, whether it is socially matching, whether it is matching with my personal capacity, whether it is okay with my liking, preferences, convictions, and all these things. You look at this. But make a hitala කරනවා නෙමෙයි. හිතලා කරනවා නෙමෙයි. මේක automatically වෙන දෙයක්. ඒතර මෙන්න මේ evaluations කරන alternatives වලට then only out of all the options they select the product what they want to purchase. So then what will happen? They start buying the product and consuming the product. So then even after that they start evaluating. Product එකක් purchase කරාට පස්සෙත් මිනිස්සු evaluate කරනවා ඒ product එක හොඳද නරකද කියන එක. So that means the consumer buying process does not stop from the buying point. Right? Does not stop from the buying point. Consumer buying process does not stop from the buying point. So even after buying point, you simply continue the buying process. Okay. Look at as an example. Okay, I will tell you. අපි ගමු මෙතන ඉන්න කවුරු හරි Nimesha, are you there? 593. Nimesha 593 Nimesha ඉන්නවද? Nimesha, are you there? Okay. 652 Nimesha. 652, yes, Nimesha. Nimesha දෙන්නේ කියන very good. Nimesha 652, you're there. මෙහෙමයි කතා කරන්න බය වෙන්න එපා සේල්ස් කරනවා නම්. සේල්ස් ඉගෙන ගන්නවා නම් කතා කරන්න බය වෙන්න එපා. මාකටිං කියලා කියන්නේ මහ කටිං. කට නැත්තම් ජීවත් වෙන්න මාකටිං කරන්න බෑ. සේල්ස් උත් ඒ වගේම තමයි. right? මේ කො බලමු අපි නිමේෂව ගමු. නිමේෂ 652. Are you there? Yes, we can't hear you properly. Are you Nimesha or Nimesha? 652. Nimesha or Nimesha? Can't hear you, Buddha. Go. I want to discuss an example, so that is why I'm taking some. මේකට ගෑන් ළමෙක්ගේ එක්සැම්පල් එකක් ගත්තා නම් අපිට ක්ලියර්ලි ඔක්කොන්ටම කියලා දෙන්න පුළුවන්. කො 593 නිමේෂ ඉන්නවද? Okay, Dilini 444 Dilini. Are you there? Dilini 444 registration number. 444 Dilini. Dilini 444.
Hello, sir.
Yes, where are you working?
I'm not working. I'm just studying.
Where?
Institute of Engineering Technology, Katunayaka.
Wow. What do you do?
Electrical power engineering.
Okay, very good. Okay. ළඟදී කරපු purchase එකක් මතක් කරගන්න මොනවාද ළඟදී purchase කරේ? වෙඩින් එකකට එම ගියාද ළඟදී?
No, sir.
අන්තිමන වෙඩින් කොයි කාලෙද? දැන් වෙඩින් වලට යන්නත් බෑනේ මේ ආණ්ඩුවෙන් නින්දානේ. ගණන් වැඩි. So, කවදද අන්තිම එකට ගියේ?
දැන් අවුරුදු දෙකකට විතර කලින් 2022 to 2020.
හරි. එහෙනම් ගන්න. ළඟදී මොන හරි fashion item එකක් purchase කරාද? Shoes දෙකක්.
Yeah.
Okay. හරි අපි එතනට යමු. It's easy for me. හරි. ඇයි purchase කරේ? The typical question I'm asking, okay? Hey, mamme wow me process එක ගෙනියන්නේ. Why? Why did you purchase? ඇයි ඒක purchase කරේ? මොකද reason එක? මං අහන්නේ හරිය නිකන් මෝඩ ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. But why? ඇයි ඔයාලට shoes දෙයක් purchase කරන්න ඕන උනේ?
මම මේ දවස්වල intern ඉන්නේ. So workshop එකේ නිකන් මේ sandals slippers දාන්න බෑ. ඒක නිසා මේ shoes දෙකක් ගත්තා.
Right, very good. Now need එක recognize කරා to go as an intern you can't wear a slipper, right? Rubber slippers or whatever the sandals you can't wear. So you identify the need of having a shoes. So you decided to buy. Problem recognition එක ආවා. Okay. දෙවනි step එකට යනවා. So search information, right? From where did you search information? මේ shoe එක ගන්නවා කොහෙද බැලුවේ? කඩ කීයකට ගියාද? website කීයක් බැලුවද? fashion magazine එහෙම බැලුවද? මොනවද කරේ? කොහෙන්ද information එව්වේ?
No sir.
Were you purchasing an industrial shoe?
No sir. Just deck shoes.
Deck shoes නේ. හරි. කඩ කීයකට ගියාද? කොහෙන්ද බැලුවේ?
DSI එකෙන් තමයි ගත්තේ. ගොඩක් ඒවට ගියේ නැහැ. DSI එකට ගත්තා.
Okay. DSI එකට ගියාම okay now DSI කියලා කියන්නේ ගොඩක් brands handle කරනවානේ ඒගොල්ලෝ. right එතන brands කීයක් විතර තිබ්බද? කීයක් විතර තියලා ඒ කීයක් බලලා මේක කොහොමද ඔයා decide කරේ ඔයා දැන් ගත්ත shoe එකට යන්න. okay DSI ගියාම ඔයා බලාගෙන ගිය සපත්තුව ඉස්සරහා තියාගෙන ඉඳලා දෙන්නේ නැහනේ ඔයාට එන්න මේ කවුද මේ දිලිනේ එන්න හොයාගෙන ආපු සපත්තුව මෙන්න තියෙනවායි කියලා ඉවරලා ඔයා දෙකක් තුනක් දාන්න නැති දෙකක් තුනක් අතපත ගන්න නැති ලස්සනයි කියලා ගාන වැඩි කියලා හිතන්නේ නැතිනේ එහෙම වෙනවනේ so shop එකට ගියාම even we also same නේ හරිද අය ලස්සනයි පඩි හම්බුනාම ගන්නවයි කියලා අල්ලලා එන්න පුළුවන් so things are there come on be normal right so එතකොට ඔයා හරි ඔයා ගාව options ගොඩක් තිබ්බා ඔයා ඒ particular product එක ගන්න decide කරේ මොකක් base කරගෙන දැන් options available දැන් මේ evaluation alternatives වලට මම එන්නේ
දාලා බැලුවා I think comfy නම් okay ගොඩක් බර එකක් ගන්න බෑ මේ දවසම දාගෙන ඉන්නත් ඕනි daily දාන්නත් ඕනි ඒක නිසා මේ අර ගොඩක්ම බැලුවේ comfortable වෙනවද කියලායි මේ ඒකේ
දාමනද බැලුවේ
ඒක දැම්මම කියන්නේ durability එක බැලුවා ඒක තමයි
තා ඒක දැම්මහම ඔයා attractiveද කියලා බැලුවේ නැද්ද
බැලුවා ඒක main thing
මේක බැලුවාම නේ මේක දැම්මහම කොච්චර attractiveද නේ මම ඒක බැලුවා බලන්න මේක factors price එක ගානක් නෑ ඔයාලට සල්ලි තියෙන
price එක බැලුවා price එක බැලුවා ඒ කියන්නේ හැම එකම ගොඩක් ගණන් under the 5,000 okay
තමයි price එක ඔයා target කරගෙන ගියේ right බලන්න ඊට පස්සේ purchase decision එක ඔයා ගත්තා right දැන් ඔයා ඒක දානවනේ
ඔව්
හරි ඕක ඔයා දාගෙන ගිය පළවෙනි දවසේ ඔයාට කවුරු හරි මොන හරි කිව්වද shoes දෙක ගැන ලස්සනයි හරි අයියෝ charter හරි එහෙම කියනනේ මම මේ වචන වලින් කිව්වා
ලස්සනයි කිව්වා
okay ලස්සනයි කිව්වනේ
කොහෙන්ද ගත්තේ කියලා ඇහුවා කීයද කියලා ඇහුවා
there you are
එයාටත් ගන්න ඕනේ කිව්වා
good there you are go ahead තව මොනවද guys මෙතන ඉඳලා අපි කතා කරන්නේ මේ මෙයා දැන් මේ කියන්නේ purchase කරලා ඉවර වෙච්ච උනාට පස්සේ වෙන දේවල් I will tell you how it is happening now තාම නේද දැන් ඔයා ලස්සනයි කියලා කිව්වහම මේ මොකද ඔයාට හිතුනේ shoe එක ලස්සනයි කියලා එහෙම හිතුනහම මොකද ඔයාට හිතුනේ
ඉතින් අර ගත්ත දෙයින් පොඩි يعني
පොඩි ගැම්මක් ආවනේ කවුරු හරි ඇවිල්ලා. Okay, I'm just taking the opposite version of it. Okay. කවුරු හරි ඇවිල්ලා කිව්වනම් what is your name? දිලිනි. කවුරු හරි ඇවිල්ලා කිව්වනම් දිලිනි අයියෝ මොකද්ද දිලිනි ඔයා මේ අරගෙන තියෙන shoe එක අපරාදේ how much was it 5000 වැඩිමෙන් මේක රුපියල් 1000කට ගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කිව්වනම් ඔයාට මොකද හිතෙන්නේ?
අප්සෙට් යනවා එහෙම කිව්වොත් කෙලින්ම කිව්වොත්
හරි කෙලින්ම කිව්වෙත් නෑ කවුරුවත් ඔයාව ගණන් ගත්තේවත් නෑ ওই shoes දෙක දාගෙන ගිහලා ඔයා try කරනවා කකුල් දෙකත් උස්ස try කරනවා right මේක shoe එක පෙන්නන්න කාගෙවත් attention එකක් එන්නෙත් නෑ එතකොට නිකන් මොකද හිතෙන්නේ
ඒක ඊට වඩා අවුල් යනවා
ඒක ඊට වඩා අවුල් යනවා there you are so okay thank you very much Dilini so
thank you sir.
These are thank you very much Buddha. Thank you very much for the support. Now these are the conditions actually what I wanted to tell you all guys. See now even after purchase the product, okay, you still evaluate your buying decisions. Kawuru hari avila kiwot wow it's superb kiyali wala. You get happy. But if no one is recognizing you, I mean you have a doubt. Adi mechchara vidan kalla wela mම මේ shoes දෙක ගත්තා එකක්වත් බලන්නේවත් නැහැ නේ කියලා. I will tell one of the example. Wedding card එකක් හම්බ වෙනවා. උදාහරණයක් විදිහට. ගෑනු ළමයට wedding card එකක් හම්බ වෙනවා. Right bestie ගේ wedding එක. So you search information. bestie ට වඩා උඩින් ඉන්නනේ සමහරලාට ගෑනු ළමයි බලන්නේ. Okay bestie ට වඩා ලස්සනට ඇඳලා යන්න. ඒ වගේ search information. කොහෙන්ද ගන්නෙ? කොහෙන් හොඳ magazine එකක් බලනවා. සමහරලාට custom tailor කෙනෙක් ගාවට ගිහලා dress එකක් make කරගන්න. ඔය වගේ search information දාලා ඒගොල්ලෝ තියෙන හොඳම product එක ගන්නවයි කියලා හිතමුකෝ. එහෙම නැත්නම් සාරි මන්දිර ගිහිල්ලි වල 50000කට දෙන හොඳ සාරියක් අරගන්නවා. Right now at the wedding day then purchase එක කළා ඉවරයි my dear friends remember. purchase එක කරනවා සාරි මන්දිර ගිහලා රුපියල් 50000ක මේ සාරියක් අරගෙන wedding day එක දවසේ හොඳ dress up එකක් කරගෙන හොඳ makeup එකක් දාගෙන wedding එකට යනවා. Right and the girl now enters into the wedding location. ඇයි wedding එකට යන්න එපා කියලාද කියන්නේ තාරිඳු ළඟ ඉන්නේ කවුරු හරි. Right so wedding එකට යනවා. අපි හිතමු as an example wedding එකට enter වෙනකොට කවුරු හරි ඇවිල්ලා ඒ girl ට කියනවා wow you look gorgeous. You look superb, right? You look so attractive. So think about the mindset of that particular person. So she might be up on the moon now, right? Wow factor creator. Right? ඕකෙම opposite version එක ගත්තොත් as an example, right? කවුරු හරි wedding location එක ඇතුළට යනකොට right location එක ඇතුළට යනකොට what if there are couple of ladies with the same sari, right? What if couple of ladies with the same sari, right? Sometimes you might feel even killing the fellow in sari mandir who was giving you the sari, which means you still evaluate your purchase decision, right? Your purchase decisions, right? You might not even go in public and you sometimes even move out. So you are so embarrassed because you are not, you are just look alike with some others in the occasion. So things, but I want to connect. So people even after purchase, they evaluate their buying decisions. So you being a salesman, remember my dear friends, if you, I mean, this is one of the point where you will lose your good client. In case you don't give proper information to the client and if you try to cheat the client, you will not get the second purchase from that client just because of this post-purchase evaluation condition. When they are consuming the product, either they will be happy or they will regret about the buying decision. If they're happy with the buying decision, what they have taken, they will definitely come back to you once again. But if they are not happy, if they regret about the buying decision, if they are not comfortable psychologically about the buying decision, they will never come back to you and they will never recommend you to anyone else in their network. So post-purchase evaluation is so important for a salesperson to be with the client, to build a long-term relationship, to convert the client into a loyal customer, so and gain more revenue and increase the lifetime value of the client. Remember that. So the situation where we face uncomfortable mindset we identified as psychological disequilibrium. අපි කියනවා psychologically අපි equilibrium position එකක නෙමෙයි ඉන්නේ කියලා. ඕකට අපි word එකක් use කරනවා cognitive dissonance කියලා කියනවා. Cognitive dissonance. Cognitive කියලා කියන්නේ mindset එකක්. Right? Cognition කියලා කියන්නේ mind එක. Dissonance කියලා කියන්නේ imbalance එක. Dissonance කියලා කියන්නේ imbalance එක. So post purchase situation එකේ if we are regretting, we identify that condition as the cognitive dissonance condition. Cognitive dissonance condition. It happens at this point. So you being a salesperson should avoid the cognitive dissonance. If you are to build a loyal customer, if you are to build the relationship, if you are to maintain the customer for future business, you have to make sure, you should make sure you manage the cognitive dissonance. So this is simply the consumer buying behavior process. And this is a psychological process. I'm repeating again. මේක හිතලා කරන්නේ නැහැ. කවුරුවත් මට දැන් need එකක් තියෙනවා. දැන් මම මොකද කරන්නේ? දැන් මම එහෙනම් search කරන්න ඕනේ information. එහෙනම් මම search කරා information දැන් මම මොකද කරන්නේ? evaluate කරන්න ඕනේ. දැන් මේ process එක දන්නේ නැති එකට මොකුත් කරන්න බෑ එහෙම බැලුවොත්. Which is not true. So it's a psychological thing which is happening automatically. Now, in a repeat purchase situation, if you are comfortable with a particular product, right, you might identify the need. Let's say toothpaste එකක් ගන්න. ගෙදර තියෙන toothpaste එක ඉවර වෙන්න එනවා. එහෙනම් දන්නවා need එක එනවා toothpaste එක ඉවර වෙන්න කලින් toothpaste එකක් ගන්න ඕනේ. I'm just taking a very small example. ළඟ තියෙන කඩෙන් ගන්නවද? එහෙම නැත්නම් office එකට එන ගමන් supermarket එකෙන් ගන්නවද කියලා search කරනවා information. These things are quick, very quick. Right? So when you look at certain product, when we do the product analysis, you identify buying decision for certain products are very quick. Convenient goods කියලා කියනවා අපි. ඒතර search information අපි ලොකුවට කියන්නේ තප්පර දෙක තුනෙන් අපි decide කරනවා information එක මේකයි කියලා. Evaluation alternatives ඔක්කොම අපි මේ තප්පර 3-4 ඇතුළත අපි complete කරනවා. So then on your way you purchase the product and you already happy with the product. So that is why you purchase. But let's say as an example, short expiry product එකක් client දුන්නා. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් toothpaste එකක් අරගත්තාම සැර දෙකක් විතර ඕගොල්ලෝ use කරනවා. right? ලොකු toothpaste එකක් ගත්තා කියලා 2 weeks වගේ ඕගොල්ලෝ use කරනවා. But short expiry එකක් දීලා සතියෙන් ඕගොල්ලෝගේ toothpaste එක මේ expire වෙනවා. එතකොට ඕගොල්ලෝ මොකද කරන්නේ? Then you might think okay you were cheated. Even after purchase එතකොට ඕගොල්ලන්ට කියන්න බලන්න කලින් ගත්ත product එක කලින් ගත්ත shop එකේ නම් products ගොඩක් කල් තිබ්බා. මේක මේ ගොඩක් කල් තිබ්බයි කියලා කියන්නේ අලුත් products ඇවිල්ලා තිබ්බා. මේකේ පරණ products මේගොල්ලෝ විකුණන්නේ. Post purchase evaluation even happened at that particular time. Give me 1 minute. So post purchase evaluation even you do when you look at the repeat purchasing as well. Okay, make a psychological process ekak, so it happens automatically. Any questions? Someone was raising a hand. I missed him.
So these days because of this fluctuation of prices, people ask now when essential goods like they ask for prices now before they purchase. They got something related for this new.
Yeah, evaluation of alternatives, obvious, right? So I mean when they evaluate alternatives, ඒගොල්ලන් price එක අහනවයි කියලා කියන්නේ you are going back to their buying capacity here, right? Whether I have enough money to buy, the personal factors, the buying capacity, right? So whether I can seriously buy, whether I can spend, so they look at, right? මට මේක ගන්න සල්ලි තියනවද, right? කියන එක බලනවා ඒගොල්ලෝ. ඒ කියන්නේ it is a factor that is influencing for buying decision. Yes, very true. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir, yes.
Any more questions, guys? Guys, models ගොඩක් අපි use කරනවා, right? This is another model actually. මේ අපි කතා කරපු මේ process එක another area which can be tested, and the factors another area which can be tested in MCQs. ඕගොල්ලන්ට මේ අද කරපු මේ slides ටිකෙන් MCQs 10කට කිට්ටු වෙන්න ඕගොල්ලන්ට generate වෙන්න පුළුවන්. MCQs 90න් 10ක් විතර මේ slides ටික ඇතුලේ තියෙනවා. Any question? Anyone is having any questions?
Sir,
yeah, who is
one
this?
question. Are these cultural, social, personal, psychological, all matters for the earlier mentioned process? Commonly to the process?
Yeah, it's like this. It's like this. Now, these are the factors that are influencing consumers when they are taking buying decision. Right? Make cultural balapala, social balapala, person. No, I mean, it's not like that. Right now, let's say as example, your wedding is a cultured wedding and Canadian wedding. You can't go in Indian style now. So, okay, etana eka balapana. Occasion, culture, balapana. Right? Okay. Enan tamange buying capacity ke balapana. Okay. Then සමහර weddings තියෙනවනේ ඇඳන් එන dress එකක් කියනවනේ. මේක ඇඳන් එන්න ඕනේ මෙතනින් tag එක ගේන්න ඕනේ කියලා. What a dirty culture had come to Sri Lanka, no? Right? So even the tag ගන්න ඕන තැනත් මොකක්ද කියලා wedding invitation card එකේම දාලා තියෙනවනේ. I don't know why Sri Lanka has gone into that level. Right? එතකොට මේ ඔක්කොම ටික එකපාර බලපාන්නේ නැහැ. Right? There are certain factors. සමහර වෙලාවට product එක දැන් උදාහරණයක් විදිහට අර ළමයා purchase කරේ මොකද්ද? එයාගේ office එකේ වැඩ කරන occupational මේ reason එකක්. Right? Personal fact එක. පැහැදිලිද? සහ එයාගේ income එක. එයාට ගොඩක් සල්ලි තිබ්බනම් එයා 5000 limit එකේ ඉන්නේ. ලස්සන shoe එකක් ඊට වඩා වැඩි ගාණක් දීලා ඊට වඩා හොඳ එකක් ගන්නවා. You know? මේ ඔක්කොම බලපාන්නේ නැහැ එකපාර. But there can be multiple factors affecting in one. Clear, neda?
Clear.
Any more questions? Anyone is having any questions? So we are looking at the factors that are influencing the B2B buying, the business. Company එකක් purchase කරනකොට මොනවද බලපාන සාධක? Right? Company එකක් මොනවාරි product එකක් purchase කරනකොට what are the factors influencing the buying decision? So now look at environmental factors. අපි තාම environmental factors ලොකුවට කතා කරේ නැහැ. Macroeconomic and the microeconomic environmental factors are influencing. ඒ කියන්නේ political scenarios. දැන් මේ දවස්වල බලන්න, right? ගත්තොත් එම organizational purchase එකක් කරනකොට imports කරනවා නම් export කරනවා නම්, right? ඒගොල්ලන් දැන් decisions change කරන්න. දැන් export කරලා ඉවරලා ලංකාවට සල්ලි ආව දවස් 30ක් ඇතුළත ඩොලර් එක convert කරගන්න ඕනේ නැත්නම් ඒක මේ auto conversion එකකට යනවා. ඒතර දැන් import export කරන එක්කෙනෙක්ට ඒකේ ඒ export වලින් එන income එකවත් අඩුම ගානේ work out කරගන්න බෑ. import කරන එක්කෙනෙක් කියලා හිතමුකෝ උදාහරණයක් විදිහට dollar concern එකේ හින්දා මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ? They can't import. Economic conditions, all these taxations, the regulations, all these things are macroeconomic conditions. Competition, right? The buyer behavioral changes. So those are also microeconomic conditions. Supplier changes, the microeconomic conditions. So these factors are affecting the B2B buying decisions. When a company wants to buy something, I mean, these factors are affecting. And the other one, the organizational factors, like company එකේ decision එකක් තියෙනවා හැමතිස්සෙම purchase කරනකොට best supplier ගෙන් තමයි ගන්නෙ. company එක හැමතිස්සෙම branded products තමයි purchase කරන්නේ. සමහර company එකක් කියන්නේ අපිට වැඩක් නැහැ, අපි cost එක තමයි main focus එක තියෙන්නේ. අපිට අදාළ නැහැ මේක branded unbranded. We worried about the cost factor. So like that the company might. It's a company objectives, the systems. So company might say, okay, we do online procurement, we don't meet people. Systems, right? We procure everything. So if you are to supply, you supply online. You supply in the sense you send your quotation online. So then only we will evaluate. You don't have to come to our office and submit your quotation, the proposal. We don't give any meetings for suppliers. No, I mean like we don't meet suppliers, right? Everything is chosen by the system. So there are companies in Sri Lanka even right now. Organizational context, right? Organizational context. And interpersonal context, the person who is taking the decision, whether he's having a real authority, right, about taking a decision. What is his role? He's a managing director, procurement manager, accountant, or whatever, who name it, right? So those things, right, are influencing his knowledge, his capacity of understanding. So all these things are influencing. Okay, individual factors are also affecting the B2B buying decisions, right? So let's say the age, income, and all these things. And then again, the personality factors, the risk and attitude, how capable of taking risk and all are affecting the buying decision. So these are factors that are affecting the B2B. Now look at now these B2C, consumer, culture, social, personal, psychological. ඒ වගේම B2B වලදී අපි දකිනවා environmental factors, organizational factors, interpersonal factors and the individual factors that are influencing the buying decision. So you got to have an idea. මේ ඔක්කොම එකපාර බලපාන්නේ. Right? එතකොට මේ බලපාන එක මොකක්ද කියලා බලලා ඒකත් එක්ක තමයි sales pitch එක අපි හරියට කරන්න ඕනේ. Right? Salesman ගේ pitch එක, sales selling approach එක අපි කරන්න ඕනේ හරියට. ඒකත් එක්ක match කරලා තමයි අපි ඒ ටික කරන්න ඕනේ. Right? So this is another area which is really important in B2B buying, the factors that are influencing the buying decision. So before I go into the buying process, the B2B buying process, 8-step approach compared to the B2C, the 8-step approach is there in B2B. Or the B2C එකේ තිබේ steps 5යි. මේකේ steps 8ක් තියෙනවා. And highly controlled process. මේක නිකන් අර psychological process එකක් නෙමෙයි. Consumer buying වලදී අපි දැක්කේ psychological process එකක්. නමුත් මෙතන තියෙන psychological process එකක් නෙමෙයි. මෙතන තියෙන්නේ preset process එකක්. Now anyone here who is quoting for tenders, the government tenders, the corporate sector, ඉන්නවද මෙතන ඉන්න කට්ටිය පොඩ්ඩක් අතුස්සන්න. සෙට් එකක් අතුස්සගෙන ඉන්න ඉස්සෙල්ල උස්සපුවත තාම පල්ලෙහා දාලා නැහැ. Right. Okay, Ramita, you are for okay. ඉස්සෙල්ල උස්සපුවත තාම උස්සගෙන ඉන්න සෙට් එක පොඩ්ඩක් පල්ලෙහාට දාන්න. Yes. Ramit, so which company you are working for? Jerome, Ramit, which company you are working for?
Hello, sir. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I work for Technomedics International, sir.
Technomedics International, okay. You are into B2B, right? You are selling for companies.
We are into B2C, sir.
B2C?
Medical equipment, yes.
Yeah, medical equipments, okay. You are selling for customers directly?
We sell to government sectors of tenders mainly.
Yeah, it's B2B.
And
actually, we call it as B2G, right?
Okay.
Business to government. It's not B2C.
Okay,
right?
sir. Right.
You are not selling for end users. No, the medical equipment. Okay, if it is a government in the sense, you are talking about the Ministry of Health tender, or else you are talking about individual regional hospital tenders, no? Procurement
yes,
tenders.
Yes, indeed, sir. Yes.
Those are what you talk about now. So those are B2G, right? අපි B2G කියන එක අපි B2B category එකේ යට තමයි කතා කරන්නේ, right? B2B, B2C and B2G කියන එක, business to government කියන එක. So those are we are talking under the B2B category. So those are government tenders, right?
Yes, sir. Those are government tenders.
Okay, government tender එකකදී ඔයගොල්ලන්ට tender document එක office එකට එනවා නම් එහෙම නැත්නම් පත්තරේ advertise කරපු tender එකක් නම් ඒ tender එකේ complete details තියෙනවා නේ කොහොමද quote කරන්න ඕනේ මොනවද quote කරන්න ඕනේ
specifications ටිකයි ඔක්කොම ටික. Oh.
Okay, unless you comply they don't accept your tender. Acceptance is you can drop the tender but they will not choose you. So those procurements are B2B and okay B2G condition එකේ ආවත්. So need එක recognize කරගෙන තියෙනවා. මේ hospital එකට මේ regional hospital එකට කොච්චර ප්‍රමාණයක් කොච්චර විදියකට එවන්න ඕනේද? Right? එතකොට need එක analyze කළා තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ document එකට tender specification එක set කරන්නේ. Okay? එතකොට ඊට පස්සේ ඒගොල්ලෝ මොකද්ද කරන්නේ? They are requesting okay if it is a public one they advertise for you all to quote. Newspaper එක වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් they might send you the invitation to bid by post or whatever the way. So supplier ට එවනවා. ඊට පස්සේ මොකද්ද කරන්නේ? bid කරන quotations ටික ඔක්කොම ඒගොල්ලෝ analyze කරනවා. Now when okay tell me Damit ඒගොල්ලෝ මොනවද analyze කරන්නේ? Now in usually technical evaluation committee is there, documentation evaluation committee is there, the financial evaluation committee is there. So committees ගොඩක් තියෙනවා එතනදී. මේ proposal solicitation කියලා කියන්නේ when you talk about your tender. So who are the parties, those who are selecting, those who are involving on selecting the supplier?
When it comes to my category of work, generally the parties like the medical doctor is there, then there's an accountant, then there is the directors are there, and then mainly those are the categories. So it depends on the price and the specification. So whatever the conditions, if we meet the specification, the lowest party gets the award for the bid. So answering your question, mostly it's a doctor, it's a accountant, is there, financial directors, and then hospital directors. So that's a huge panel who looks into all this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So actually, I mean, technical evaluation is not done by accountant. Financial evaluation is done by accountant, but technical evaluation is done by doctor.
Biomedical engineer is also there, a part of it.
Exactly. So අන්න එතන බලන්න team එකක් involve වෙලා තමයි supplier select කරගන්නේ. Supplier select කරගන්න team එකක් involve. දැන් ඕක අපි දැක්කද B2C වල consumer buying process එකේ ඔහොම approach එකක් අපි දැක්කද? No, we didn't see that, no. So B2B buying කියලා කියන්නේ it's kind of a methodical approach where companies taking a decision because finally it boils down to the profit and loss of the business. වැරදි ඩිසිෂන් එකක් වුණොත් එහෙම රයිට් මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ අන්තිමට ලෙඩ්ඩු ටික මැරලා තියෙයි හොස්පිටල් වල වෙන වැරදි ඩ්‍රග් එක ගෙනිච්චොත් එහෙම රයිට් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මතක ඇතිනේ මේ එක්ස්පයර් වෙච්ච ඩ්‍රග්ස් එහෙම කලින් ආඩු වල ගෙනාව හොස්පිටල්ස් වලට සෝ ඒ වගේ දේවල් වුණොත් එහෙම සමහරලාට ලෙඩ්ඩුන්ට හානි වෙන්න ඉඩ තියෙනවා so ඊට පස්සේ මොකද්ද කරන්නේ ඕගොල්ලෝ සිලෙක්ට් කරගත්තට පස්සේ they are basically working on the ordering and Damita, I have one more question. And
yes,
if you get an order, okay, what if you don't deliver on time?
We get to pay the liquidated damages. So there's a condition, we need to supply it before the deadline. If you don't pay before the deadline, per week they charge 1%. So per week we have to pay 1% of the bid value. So no, sorry, sir?
Yeah, good. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough, environment where we have to pay for liquidated damages. In fact, we are going through few at the moment because of the current situation, and then our manufacturers are also unable to supply on time due to the ongoing pandemic. Even though we don't actually care about it, still the problems are it's still there. So if you don't give on time, sometimes they give us a certain time. If we are unable to supply it between that time, sometimes they cancel us the award and give the next lowest bidder, or else we have to pay for the liquidated damages.
Exactly. So the government tenders, so that is the usual process. And also, let's say as an example, if you are awarded the tender, they are taking some kind of a guarantee called performance bond, performance guarantee, bond. Right? So if you don't simply deliver on time, they sometimes encash the performance bond. So that is the damage actually they are recovering for the entire process what they have involved. So regulations, so much of regulations are there. Even in a private sector, though the performance bond and the bid bond things are not there, so much of involvement, so much of parties are involving in buying decision. Now, in that case, the medical doctors, the medical engineers, the finance, everybody. Now, let's say as example, the Ministry of Education buying computers, Asian Development ADB funded project as an example. So now how many people? ADB team is participating, the technical evaluation committee is participating, Arthur C. Clarke team is participating, IT consultants are participating, the financial evaluation is participating, documentation evaluation team is participating. Many parties are connected together so to select the final supplier on this. So those mechanisms are very rigid approach. Then අපි හිතමු උදාහරණයක් විදිහට Thank you, Damita. So let's say as an example, a very basic procurement to go for a company. දැන් හිතමු company එකේ marketing coordinator ගේ computer එක වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැ. Right? Marketing coordinator ගේ computer වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැ කියලා වෙලා marketing coordinator initiate කරාට පස්සේ එකපාරටම කවදාවත් ගිහලා marketing coordinator යන්න ඔයා ගිහලා මෙන්න සල්ලි තියෙනවා computer එකක් අරන් එන්නයි කියලා කියන්නේ නැහැ. They don't do like that. So they might analyze the need. Right? They might look at, okay, marketing coordinator job role එක මොනවද? marketing coordinator කරන්නේ මොනවද? invoicing දාන එක, distributors ලට mail දාන එක, මේ internal system එකත් එක්ක වැඩ කරන එක, පොඩ්ඩක් මේ monthly meetings වල reports හදන එක ඕක තමයි. So marketing coordinator multimedia operations කරන්න එනං යාර DVDs, multimedia DVD players එහෙම අවශ්‍ය නැහැ, sounds අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. අරකයි මේකයි කියලා. So they are analyzing by looking at the job role. සමහරලාට procurement එකට යන්නේ නැතුව ඒගොල්ලෝ කියනවා මේ department එකේ computer එකක් තියෙනවා මේ department එකට අපිට multimedia facility එකත් එක computer එකක් ගන්න ඕනේ then that PC transfer to the marketing coordinator and buy new PC for the multimedia and the people those who are needed those features. So those procurements are bit of a, I'm not saying bit, those procurements are very planned procurements when it comes for the B2B operation. So you got to identify. So I mean, involvement of the party is also very much higher compared to the consumer buying. So these are the usual steps what we identified. In certain textbooks, my dear friends, you can see this in 6 steps process. Some are in 7-step process. Some are even in 5-step process. But when you expand, you see these 8 steps in each and every model, whatever you see. So B2B වලදී ප්‍රශ්න identify කරගන්නවා. ඒ ප්‍රශ්නේ හරියට analyze කරනවා. need එක හරියට analyze කරනවා. සමහරලාට අපි consumer purchase එකක් කරනකොට අපි ගිහිල්ලා අපි analyze කර කර ඉන්නේ නැහැ. ගත්තට පස්සේ අයියෝ කමක් නැහැ කියලා හරියන්නේ නැත්තම් visit කරලා දාන්න පුළුවන්. ආයේ පැත්ත බලාතේවත් ඒ supply දිහා බලන්න ඕනේ. But business you can't do like that. They analyze the need properly. Right? They analyze the need properly. Then only based on the requirement, they set the specification, what to buy and how to buy and what quantity to buy and everything they analyze based on that. ඒකට හරියන සප්ලයර් අපි හොයනවා කම්පැනි එකේ. ඊට පස්සේ එයාට කියලා proposals අපි ගෙන්න ගන්නවා. Because you don't just depend on one particular supplier unless you have a contractual agreement. අර මම ඉස්සෙල්ලා කියපු කලින් use කරපු model එකට මම එනවා මෙතනට පොඩ්ඩක්. Unless you have a contractual agreement with that particular supplier, right? You look at suppliers. You search suppliers and evaluate the supplier and select the supplier to supply the goods. And even after sending or receiving the items to the company, your company is still evaluating, right? Company is still evaluating. Some performance bonds are kept for 1 year. Some performance bond or the retention money kept for 1 year, 2-year period until for them to make sure that the products are performing really well. So things are happening in the B2B, I mean, in a systematic manner compared to the B2C operation. So you got to have an idea. I think you being a salesman, your visibility should be there throughout this journey. Salesman කෙනෙක් විදියට salesman ගේ visibility එක මේ journey එක හරහටම තියෙන්න ඕනේ. So if not, what will happen? Your visibility is not there. Your credibility will be a concern and you will not be able to survive in that type of a market. So this is the B2B buying process what we identified. So any question there, this is also another area which is tested highly in your paper. Any question? Anyone is having any question? Anyone is having any questions? 811 Melanie, which company you are working? 811 Melanie.
United Tractors, sir.
What the one kata also. Sorry about it. Sorry about it. Zahir, where are you working? Zahir 485.
Hi sir, I'm working at Dali Butler.
Working at Dali Butler. Right. Dali Butler දෙන්නේ අපිට කීටිය වගේ පාර.
Okay sir.
Samsudin Dali Butler නේද? Samsudin උයි
Yes. He's our regional manager.
Okay, Samsudin was there and the other one I can't remember his name also. Siraj.
I hope Mr. Siraj. Yes.
Siraj was there last time.
Yes, he is our sales manager in Cow and Gate region.
Okay. They were there last time. Okay, how many are there from this time? Yo, Dali Butler. Kidene kinnawada?
No idea, sir. දන්නේ මං විතර ඉන්නවා කියලා හිතන්නේ.
Okay, cool. See. Right. Okay, and now you are okay with it. දැන් ඕගොල්ලෝගේ නම් ඇත්තටම you are handling modern trade or general trade?
Sir, I'm handling ISM. That means SMMT.
SMMT, right? So how many clients you have in SMMT? Which
I have about 43 outlets, sir.
43. Which area you are referring to? 43 Colombo?
No. I'm at Kandy. That means Kadugasthoda, Digana, Deldiniya, those areas.
Okay, you are looking at a huge region. Okay, superb. So actually, I mean, even the SMMT operation, you can see to a certain extent, not high, I mean, rigid one, like modern trade, but to a certain extent, they have, I mean, the decision maker may be the SMMT owner, right? But you see some kind of a approach over here, I mean, in this model, B2B, because that purchase also B2B, right? So
Yes,
they look at the existing inventory, right? Return rates, and let's say as example, if your return rate is 0, sometimes they might say no, we don't take, right? So things are there like that. So this step it takes there as well. Good. Shanika 531. Shanika. Shanika. Shanika, the boy. Shanika, where are you working?
I'm student.
Where? What university?
University of Peradeniya.
What do you do?
I'm studying marketing management.
Which year? First year, the second year?
Third year, sir.
Third year. තේරෙනවද මේ කරන දේවල් කියන දේවල්?
Yes, sir.
අවුලක් නැහැ.
තේරෙනවා.
අවුලක් නැහැ නේ?
නෑ, sir.
Okay, good. Right. So guys, actually B2B, when it comes for B2B, let me take y'all on a, we identified set of people, those who are involving in the B2B buying decisions, right? අපි කියවනේ දැන් B2B purchase එකක් කරනකොට මේ තනි decision එක ගන්නෙ නැහැ. ඒක ගොඩක් කට්ටිය involve වෙනවා buying decision එකට. එතකොට මේ කට්ටිය අපි කියනවා B2B decision making unit එක කියලා. DMU කියලා කියනවා. Decision making unit කියලා කියනවා B2B එකේ. එතකොට අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම B2B decision making unit එක අපි identify කරගන්නවා B2B buying center එක විදියට. We call it as a buying center. B2B decision making unit, another name for B2B decision making unit, we identified as buying center. So when you look at the B2B decision making unit, so you see these type of characters. මේවා purposely set කරන characters වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, නොවෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. Right? Purposely set කරන characters වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, නොවෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. දැන් government bid එකකදී එහෙම නැත්නම් මොනවා හරි high value procurement එකකදී, okay? Influencer කෙනෙක්. Okay? ඉන්න පුළුවන් third party as an example. Okay? එයාට යන්නේ නැහැ. එයාට යන්නේ technical bid එක විතරයි. එහෙම නැත්නම් private company එකක වුණත් influencer කෙනෙක් ඉන්න පුළුවන් third party කෙනෙක්. එයාට යන්නේ technical side එක විතරයි. එයා technically justify කරලා කියනවා මේ product එකයි හොඳ මේ. එයා දන්නේ නැහැ සමහරවිට supplier කවුද කින්දමන්ද කියන මොකුත් දන්නේ නැහැ. He might influence. Or else he might sometimes directly say, go ahead with this brand. This is the best brand. In construction industry, we see this sometimes. Okay, even in certain technology-driven industry, the technological consultants, electrical consultants, fire-related consultants, interior consultants, security and safety consultants, they directly say, look here, go ahead with this brand. Don't choose other brands. Because they are the consultant. They are influencing into buying decisions. Right? So we have character like that. We have a character like gatekeeper. Gatekeeper කෙනෙක් කියලා කිව්වම this is also not something set purposely. Now as an example, ඔගොල්ලෝ quotation එකක් යවනවා න. company එකකට quotation එකක් යවුවාම you worried about what is happening to that quotation. No? You want to know whether that quotation will work out for us or not. So you might call the client and say, hey, look here, I'm so and so calling from this company and we have sent a quotation for this purpose. Can I talk to the procurement manager? You might call and ask them. The operator might say, no, you can't talk to the procurement manager. If they have taken a decision, they will call you. And they cut the line. So a character or the person or the personality who is blocking you accessing the buying center, we identified as the gatekeeper. Gatekeeper, right? එතන buyer, the final decision එක ගන්න එක්කෙනා, the buyer, the person who is doing the procurement part. එයා procurement manager වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Decider වෙන්න පුළුවන් සමහර වෙලාවට. I will tell one of my failure story, right? It was a successful failure after about 8 months of process effort. Decider සමහර වෙලාවට අපි හිතන්නේ නැති මේ චරිතයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Okay. So user is the person who is using the product. The initiator is the person who is initiating the product, initiating the purchase requirement. Now, guys, actually, I don't want to mention the company and the institute and the brand even with this example. And long time back, I was quoting for a private sector banking organization on certain solutions. Okay. So what happened, and the entire process was taken for about 6 to 8 months, and we were at the latter part of signing the contract to supply. By that time, there were 350 plus branches, and the complete system for each and every branches. The entire bid was worth about 500 million. The huge investment, huge project. So that was the reason actually it went for about 6 to 8 months for the final stage. So what happened, and we were so happy, and we were about to sign the contract, and ultimately, one before the last meeting, I mean, we knew each other casually. We are talking. We were so friendly after sometimes because we were doing so much of studies about in the banking system over there. So we were 100% comfortable throughout the discussion, and we were about to sign the contract. And we had an implementation meeting, deployment meeting to discuss about how we are going to deploy the entire steps, how we are going to take. So what happened, there was a person who was completely new for us in that boardroom. He was not appeared throughout this 6 to 8 months period during the discussion process. But finally, this person started raising his voice. Right, this person started raising his voice, and all the technical managers, the facility managers, the IT managers, the building department people, everybody was there, right? And this person was a network administrator who was overlooking the entire branch operation, and about 30 to 40 people were working under him. He was a network administrator who was looking after the entire branch networking operation. Networking in the sense the IT and certain other infrastructure operation. So he was very average person, right? And we didn't even bother to identify who the person was. So what happened after about 30-40 minutes casual discussion, this person was saying, "Sir, I want to talk. Sir, මට පොඩක් කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්ද?" Not with us inside the boardroom. We even didn't have to worry, and because we didn't want to give much of attention to that. Then what happened? This person started talking about whatever the solution we have proposed, the entire history from 1980s, right? About the brand and the product, how it was moving from one company to another company and another company, and how the failures from 1980s to date. So he started talking about. He was revealing everything. None of the factors were false. I mean, even we knew, right? Even we knew. And even some of those factors we were communicating in advance to the committee and everybody who was at the decision-making level. But finally, this person said, "Sir, ඕගොල්ලෝ මේක purchase කරොත් මට මගේ team එකට ලව්ව මේක කරන්න බෑ. ඕගොල්ලෝ වෙන team එකක් හදාගන්න. මම ඕකට අත තියන්නේ නැහැ." I don't want to mention the company and the brand or whatever, right? මම මේකට අත තියන්නේ නැහැ. සර්ලා වෙන ටීම් එකක් හදාගෙන මේ ඔපරේෂන් එක ගෙනියන්න. ඕගොල්ලෝ මේක පර්චේස් කරනවා නම් මට බර්ඩන් එකක් දෙන්න එපා. ඕකත් එක්ක මම වැඩ කරන්න කැමති නැහැ. Not with the supplier, not with us, but with the brand. It was an international brand. So what happened? Then only we got stunned, right? Then only we realized he is the person who is overlooking the entire branch operation, the networking part. So then the 8 months of effort went for 6, right? Then this person, just because of this person's statement, the entire approach started recycling. And they wanted us to propose another solution. They wanted us to go ahead with another system and everything. So finally, we had to drop it. You see, the buying center, we might see sometimes the people, those who are in the buying center who is completely alienated, who is taking the decision. Right? So we might see certain people, those who are completely alienated in the buying center, and you might not know them. Government tenders වලදී අපි සමහරලාට buying decision එක ගන්න ඒගොල්ලෝ දන්නේ නැහැ. Unless you are into it, connecting each and every point. ඉතින් මෙන්න මේක salesman කෙනෙක් විදියට you should have a clear idea about the set of people those who are involved. අපි වැරදිලවත් ওই මිනිස්සුව කලින් දැනගෙන හිටියා නම් we know how to manage, right? But unfortunately we didn't know that. So because we were so comfortable with the top fellows, but we were not comfortable with the fellows who were really at the operational level. So closer to 500 million were bid. We lost. In about 10-15 minutes speech, we lost. 8 months, 6 to 8 months effort, we lost. So make them a reality B2B purchase. So you being a salesperson need to have a clear idea about the entire buying center. You just imagine how things might turn the other way. So buying center, buying process, so you need to involve. Any questions, my dear friends? Anyone is having any questions? 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 Guys, can't you all hear?
Can hear.
Yeah. So I think some have texted saying that can't hear. Okay.
So
right.
One question: this RFI, RFQ, RFP, those are also included in this process, right?
Yeah, RF request for proposal, request for invitation for ඔය වගේ තියෙනවා, right? RFP කියලා කිව්වහම request for RFQ කියලා කිව්වම request for quotation, right? ඒ වගේ ඒවාත් තියෙනවා. දැන් ඒක ගත්තොත් ඒක එන්නේ මෙන්න මෙතනට. Right? RFP, request for proposal, right? එතකොට supplier ට යවනවා proposal request එකක්. RFQ එක request for quotations මෙතනට යනවා, right? So ඒවා යන්නේ මෙන්න මෙතනට මේ process එකේ. එතකොට ඒවා ආවට පස්සේ අපි RFP එකක් ආවට පස්සේ අපි ඒකට quote කරනවා. request for proposal එකක් ආවට පස්සේ ඒ කියන්නේ proposal එකක් request කරලා අපිට එනවා. ඒකට අපි quote කරනවා. ඒකට අපි quote කරාම ඒගොල්ලෝ analyze කරනවා ඒක. Clear? Clear නේද?
Clear, yes.
Those are technical words. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක කියන්නේ bidding වලදී යන, especially the corporate sector quotations වලදී යන technical words සාමාන්‍යයෙන්. Yes, go ahead.
Come under this proposal solicitation, sir?
Yeah. Proposal solicitation means Hiranta, actually you analyze all the proposals. Okay, you solicitate all the proposal for the purpose of selecting a supplier. ඒ කියන්නේ proposal එකේ financial proposals ටික financials ටික analyze කරනවා. කාගේද අඩු, කාගේද වැඩි, කාගේද moderate තියෙන analyze කරනවා. Financials විතරක් නෙමෙයි. ඊට පස්සේ බලනවා අඩුවට දුන්නට වැඩ නැහැ, supplier reliableද? Reliability analysis එකක් කරනවා. Right? Supplier experience එක analyze කරනවා. Right? එතකොට supplier brands මොනවද කියලා analyze කරනවා. ඔය ඔක්කොම analyze කරන එක තමයි proposal solicitation කියලා අපි කියන්නේ.
Got it, sir. Got it. Thank you so much.
No worries. Ask question, right, if you all have. Any more questions? Any more questions? Any more questions, guys? Anyone? මේ set එකෙන් ඕගොල්ලන්ට questions එනවා සෑහෙන්න. Right, අපි අද කතා කරපු set එකෙන් you will get a good number of questions. I have shared another slides with you all, the fundamentals of sales management කියලා අපි sales person selling strategies කීපයක් කතා කරන එක, right? So, but I'm not in a position to take it today, because if I take it now, it will take some more time, right? But anyway, any questions so far? Guys, one more thing. ඕගොල්ලන්ට මේ අන approach එක පැහැදිලිද? And other thing තමයි many we will have to remove most of the students, those who have not participated. Unfortunately, I mean, we will not be able to continue with them. So, a decision එක Ghani Institute එක පැත්තෙන්, මොකද there are about 400 plus students who have registered. So, without attendance, we can't do it. So, but y'all there, good. So, ඕගොල්ලන්ට තේරෙනවද මේ කියන දේ? මේ කියන දේ තේරෙනවද? කවිරු?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
කවිරු කොහෙද work කරන්නේ?
Now I am self-employed, sir. Actually, can you hear me, sir?
Self-employed, okay.
Yeah. Actually, I am doing freelance, and I am attending to the matter with logistics with my father, actually.
Okay, super. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you're
Earlier I was at a Diploma under marketing.
Okay.
And after that, I was at ACSC as a tea taster.
Okay, good. Now you are handling logistic part.
Yeah, logistics part, and some teas also doing as a freelance, actually.
Okay, so which means it's a inbound logistic courier company kind of a thing, or what?
No, it's a whole trade, actually. It's a freight forwarding, actually.
Okay, freight forwarding.
Yeah, freight forwarding, yeah.
Good, super.
Yeah.
So you are clear with it, right?
I am clear. Yeah, I am clear.
Super.
I was at Slim also with you. You lectured me also.
කොයි කාලෙද?
I was at 2000. No, can't remember that.
Maybe before
actually.
20, maybe before.
Yeah, before 20.
Because 2020 I left the place.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's not nice me lecturing over there. After 16 years, I decided from Slim.
Yeah.
So you were doing PCM or you were doing diploma?
No, I was done PCM at the Slim, actually. Then after that, I done actually hospitality management also at the Bilingual English, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Superb. So anyone, are you all clear with this? ඔගොල්ලන්ට තේරෙනව නේද මෙහෙමයි මේ කියන්නේ don't think about the language එක කියලා කියන්නේ ලොකු සිද්ධියක් නෙමෙයි, right? මේ වචන ටික පොඩ්ඩක් අල්ලගන්න සමහර ඒගොල්ලෝ I know, I mean, like, I'm getting text personally about the language, and I got a text today, right? Guys, I can't do it, I can't tell it in public, right? But I have to tell. So මේක මෙහෙමයි ඔගොල්ලන්ට okay, sir, is it a license based course? Okay. Sales management කරන්න, sir, is it a license based course? Do we get a license? I don't know. Okay. Sales management කරන්න license ගන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ, right? Sales කරන්න වාහනේ යනවා නම් වාහනේට license ගන්න ඕනේ, but sales කරන්න ඕගොල්ලන්ට තියෙන එකම license එක තමයි, I don't want to mention the name of this is a girl anyway, right? So ඕගොල්ලන්ට තියෙන එකම license එක තමයි ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ knowledge එක. ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ knowledge එක තියෙනවා නම් ඕගොල්ලන්ට license එකක් තියෙනවා ඒකේ. So guys, you will be getting the certificate, you will be getting the transcript with all the details, and those who received previously, you all can ask from them to check. And also your networking title. So you will, once you complete this, you will be entitled for another title called NBNP. ඔගොල්ලන්ට qualification එක ඔගොල්ලන් qualified වුණාට පස්සේ ඔගොල්ලන්ගේ නම පිටිපස්සෙන් දාන්න පුළුවන් title දෙක තමයි DSSM කියන එක සහ NBNP කියන එක. NBNP කියලා කියන්නේ network BNP කියන එක. So KDC is connected with the BNP portal, business networking portal, right? Ethening karane or sales karna kattiyage networking ewa further developments karane එක. So you are given a title. ඒකට title එකට certificate එකක් එක්ක තමයි ඔයගොල්ලන්ට release කරන්නේ. So portal is there, bnp.lk. So you all can create your profile there. So once you complete this, you will be converted to a pro category network where you have the complete access and start networking with others. Eka CPDs ekka ena ekak. CPDs ekka කියලා කියන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට first year එකේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට title එකත් එක්ක certificate එකක් දෙනවා. මම මේ ad hoc කතා කරන්නේ. මම completely pre-planned එකක් නෙමෙයි කතා කරන්නේ. මම මේ මතක් වෙච්ච ඉඳ කියන්නේ. So ඒ title එක ඔයගොල්ලන්ට continue කරන්න නම් CPDs වගේක් කරන්න ඕනේ. CPDs කියලා කියන්නේ continuous proficiency development. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ knowledge එක improve කරනවායි කියන එක ඔයගොල්ලෝ prove කරන්න ඕනේ. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට title එක continue කරන්න. ඒතර networking events, networking meetings වලට participate කරන එක, networking activities, business conference වලට participate කරන එක, matchmaking, business matchmaking sessions වලට participate කරන එක. ඔය දේවල් ටිකක් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට කරන්න තියෙනවා. ඒ title එක continue කරන්න. So it's an additional thing. So there will be a separate session for you all anyway. But till then, you all can go and sign up in www.bnp.lk. It's kind of a closed social media group focusing only for the business purpose. Closed social media only for the business, right? So any question? So we are coming to the end of the session. Any questions you all have?
Excuse me, sir. I am
Yes,
Kaviru again. Actually,
Yeah.
Can we register personally or in your institute side actually for the BNP network? Sorry for that.
Yeah. No. It's like this. The title is issued for the people those who are qualified only.
Qualified, yeah.
Yeah. So otherwise you can't use the title because
Title,
we are.
yeah.
I mean, it is given with a certificate and the title number.
Title.
So
yeah.
I mean that is reviewed every year based on the activities based on your personal development. So I mean you can sign up. That is okay. And to get the title, you have to prove your qualifications. Otherwise, you can't.
Though anyway, you are providing us that facility.
Yeah. Once you complete that, you all can sign up, guys. You all can log in and sign up the site. So site is, I will put it in chat box, www.bnp.lk, right? So it's a community of closed community for the business. It's along with the social media platform. So take a full rights when you will get the full access to the portal once you qualify. People are from outside these those who are having MBAs and all these things also can apply. But that of course comes on a different category.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
No problem. Okay, I shared the website. Okay, any questions? If not, we can quit the session today. Anyone is having any questions?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay, super. So let's meet up on next Sunday 2 to 6. So guys, keep your attendance, and next week onwards we'll be starting the stage 1 assignment, right? So I'll be discussing the assignment, so make sure you don't miss the session. Okay, right, guys, we'll see you in next week then. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.